All right. I think we are live.
Yeah. Yes.
I hope we are going to have this updates of the DCL games. There are 2 games today, right?
Yes.
That
Going
is
on.
correct.
Yes, we are live.
Oh, Legends I see are already 61 for 4.
Yeah, we are live.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining, people who are tuned in and watching us live. We are back with another great show, DCL PrimeTime. We're going to take a look at all the last weekend games. We're also going to take a look at how the playoff table is shaping up. And obviously, we're going to also take a stab at the next week's predictions. Before we get going, I think, again, welcome Viju. KK is going to join us as well. So welcome our analysts. And without further ado, I think if Satya, you want to pull up the results from last week's game. So
Okay. You can see, right?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Yeah, we're going to go with, as we always do, from bottoms up. We have 2 games which are currently going on, so we keep an eye on that as well as the night progresses. But the first game of the last weekend was, we talked about this, in all jest, about the game between the bottom 2 riders, Dark Horses versus Deria. I was expecting, and I know I nominated this for the showcase game of the week, but it didn't live up to its, the kind of competition we expected between the 2 bottom-ranked teams. And we all expected, and I think all of us predicted Deria because of their sole win in this season to trump Dark Horses. But Dark Horses, I think, will be taking this as a great consolation win towards the end of the season. I think Pankaj Watts, again, he as well as Abhijit, I think laid the foundation for a big total. Deria, on the other hand, kept leaking not only just the runs, the boundaries, but also were very generous on the extras as well, a total of 28 extras. And I can see, why that could have happened because, that was the last game of the season. You want to try a lot of bowlers, and they did try about 8 bowlers. So that was one of the reasons that pretty much everyone gave a handful of extras in their spell as well. On the batting side, I think chasing 158 was always going to be a tall task. Apart from Chinmay, there wasn't much of contribution. But again, if you look at this game, and if you have to, give any credit, it would be Pankaj. Again, his effort here, with both bat and ball. Look at his figures: 4 overs, 2 maidens, 5 wickets for 8 runs, and with the 47 that he made, he just basically carried on. This was pretty much the pattern which has been for the last 2.5 years, where Pankaj has been, holding on the fort, and his performances like this have earned Dark Horses some consolation, and in this case, a victory. So, Viju, what would you say about this game?
I just would say that I'm happy that Dark Horses won the game because at least now every team has won at least one game. In that sense, I didn't want some team to leave the season without at least one win. So it's a little bit of a consolation, even though it came at the very last game. I also was happy to see Pankaj Watts in the runs. When a man puts in that much effort and, he has put in all the work and the hard work, I just root for that person. So I'm quite happy that he was in the runs and he was in the wickets and he was doing everything. Sure, he got all the analysts wrong, and all 4 of us predicted the idea to win. But hey, more credit to Pankaj Watts. Single-handedly, he defeated the idea, is how I would put it, because it was a one-man wrecking crew. And so I feel I should stop it at that, because I think now that the off-season is starting for Dark Horses, they probably should go back to the drawing board and see what they want to do next season, because you need to be a little more competitive than this. You don't play an entire season to win just one game. I mean, at that point, what are you accomplishing? So hopefully they'll go and do some self-evaluation. same thing with Deria. I mean, I think they got that one player who came and played that one game and made them win the game. And then I don't think Satyajit Das has played after that. So basically, Deria has also not won after that. But nevertheless, a good outing from both teams. They are at the bottom of the pool. Their off-season starts, but good luck to both teams in the off-season. I see KK has also joined.
Yep. Hello, everyone.
KK, anything to add on this game?
Well, Pankaj Vach and his team proved every one of us wrong. But, it's very good to see Dark Horses finally get a victory. I think their first win in 2 years, if I'm not wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, you probably are right.
Yes, and I think Pankaj has a fantastic day with the ball, especially. I think he took a 5-for.
5-for, yep.
Yes, because the DCL weekly summary that comes in, Pankaj's name was at the top, and it brought a smile to my face, to see him appear in the top performance list.
Yep. And I think this win gets them off the bottom of the table because they have 1 bonus point from a game. So they are at 6 versus Deria is at 5. So at least they are not at the bottom of the table. So I think that's a consolation for them. All right, let's move on to the next game. The next game, I mean, if you look at the scores, it looks really, really close game. That wasn't something which anybody was predicting, Rising Stars versus KRCC. But I was next to the game and I was seeing, how the things were unfolding because I had very keen interest in this game, especially because it was looking at one stage that KRCC might drop a bonus point on their way. But that didn't happen. They were just about there, finished the game in 20.2 overs. Another over or another wicket could have been, good news for us. But that didn't happen. Looking at the scorecard, I think it's a very, very sporty effort, a very, very competitive effort from Rising Stars towards the end. I don't think I've seen a performance like this throughout the season from them, where they have been able to really challenge a top-ranked team. A great knock by Gopal Patel. I think I haven't heard about him, but people from my team were talking about this guy who's really great. He strikes the ball really well. So, and we'd probably see more of him in the tournaments coming in the fall and the winter. So keep an eye on that player. He's definitely going to be a standout from what the rumor mills are going around for Rising Stars. On the KRCC side, I think, talking to some of the folks there, they did experiment with a lot of the batting order, gave people chances up the order. But nevertheless, I think, they always somehow had the game under control with the tall batting lineup they had. People went for their shots probably more than they would have had if it was another day, another game. Overall, I think KRCC would be happy that they got all the 5 bonus points, but a great shout out to Rising Stars towards the end of the season. I think they were really able to show some of the competitiveness that they possess. So hopefully this carries on into the next year and in the Contenders Cup, and we see Rising Stars performing and being competitive.
Yeah, I mean, Partho, I really don't have anything more to add other than I think Rising Stars put in a phenomenal fight. None of us expected this kind of a fight. And I think it's all credit to Gopal Patel because I don't know who he is, but whoever he is, he played extremely well. His 35 against top-class bowling really stands out. And I think if you're KRCC, you have to really wonder about the KRCC batting. That certainly is fragile, to say, put it mildly. But they still have top-notch bowling. In this game, I don't see Mufassar Ali bowling or batting. So but he's on the scorecard. But I find that probably he didn't even show up for the game is what I'm guessing because normally he would do something. So, but yeah, again, as Parthiv said, they just this thing. I mean, for KRCC, again, it's a walk in the park. Nobody expected them to lose this game. I think they're firmly on track to get to where they need to get to. Rising Stars, another off-season holds in favor. But again, like dark horses, somehow at the end of the season, they seem to have found some kind of form to make some noise. So good luck to Rising Stars as they get ready for the off-season. I think they still have one more game, but...
Well said, Viju. And I think what impressed me more is the Rising Stars bowling. Only 7 extras against a top team when you're trying to defend 108. I think they put a very good effort there. And also when it comes to their batting, they played all the 25 overs. I mean, that's a good performance, I would say, against a quality opponent. And they should be proud of the way they're ending the season. But I think the Rising Star skipper would have wished these kind of performances were at the beginning of the season, so that gives a lot of motivation for the players to perform well in the rest of the season. I think it's too late, but nevertheless, it's a good way to end that season.
Vamsi, you might want to do a quick update of the scorecard of the 2 games which is going on.
Sure.
For the advantage of the viewers.
Sure. It says host disabled the participant screen sharing. I think Satya, you'll have to give me that permission. Yep, I have it now. Let me know if you're able to see it.
Yeah, we can.
Yep, there are 2 games going on. One of them is Hitman versus Rising Stars.
Where, so KK, don't you think this is a surprise? Hitman, they have everything riding and going for them, and 65 for 9.
Yep.
I don't know if they're going to win this game against Rising Stars if at 65 for 9, or if they're going to be 60 under 70 for 10. Rising Stars, if they can score 105 against KRCC bowling, they should be able to overhaul a 70 target.
I mean, we can't really say that, Viju. The reason being, we have seen in the past that teams like Hogs have won against Sterling Strikers and lost to the bottom teams like Local Boys. Not the Local Boys, I think. What is that? The bottom 2. Those things have happened, so I can't really say how the season might wind up for them. But however, they still have. Wait just a second. These are coming in the way. Yep, they still have Aditya and Kaushik batting. These both are good with the bat. If they can put on, say, 15 more runs, the game might be interesting because it is under lights and the dew factor comes into picture. It's not really easy to hit those boundaries. We have seen it in the last 2 weeks. So anything around 80, Hitman has a good chance.
Is Gopal Patel playing this game?
Well, let's see.
Yeah, he's on the roster.
Okay.
Today.
Yeah, if he's on the roster, then it's game
on. He is. You can see.
Yeah, he bowled also. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is going to be a tough uphill task for Hitman now. Well, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, by the end of the show, we'll know the results. Is what I'm guessing.
And I'm really impressed that the Rising Star skipper managed to get Salman all the way from Lansing to play this game.
Yeah, but he has been playing for these guys all through the season.
The reason is, Viju, the place where Salman works, the owner of that business is a good friend of the Rising Stars captain, and that is how Salman was.
So that's how Salman was recruited, is it?
Yes, that's the story.
Okay. Well, then Salman has no choice.
And there is another game that's going on. That's SLCC Legends versus MCC Miles. This is a very important game for Legends because Miles already have more than 30 points. I believe for Legends, it's a do or die game. They lose this, they're out of the tournament. But so far they've been doing well. 90 for 5 in 21 overs. 4 more overs. I see them around 115, 120, and if they get there, it's a good challenge to the MCC Miles batsmen this year.
That's true. All right. We'll keep monitoring that game periodically.
Sure. And let's move on to the next game. The next game we're going to analyze is SLCC Legends versus Titans. Over to you, Parth.
Yep. And talking about Legends, I think as we have all said, they haven't been performing to what they're capable of or what they have shown in the past. This was a very important game for both the teams in terms of SLCC Legends more because they still have to qualify for the playoffs. Titans are in, but I think this win definitely puts them firmly in that third spot.
No,
I
Parthiv.
think,
Parthiv, I'm sorry, they don't get into the third spot because MCC Miles and
oh yes,
Pokeries are ahead of them, and so the best they can hope for, I think, is the fourth spot.
fourth spot. Okay, my bad.
Because
I thought
here
that this-
are Legends. Legends only have 21 points. Even if they win the next two games, they'll
Get to
yeah.
31. They'll get to 31, but even that puts them at the sixth spot, you see.
Legends would be the 16th team getting into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Legends win both the games, yes, they would basically be the 16th team.
Because there are 5 teams with 35 points or more. So Legends might come in with 31 points, but what that would mean is they might be in the 14th spot because if Patriots manage to lose the next game.
Yeah. So realistically, I think Titans, despite getting that points, probably could end up at the fifth spot. Because let's say that who's this? Troy Hawks win. They have still one more game, so they still can overhaul Legends, and same thing with Miles. Miles has 2 more games, so they have very good chance of overhauling Titans. So yes, for the moment they are in the third spot, but the problem for Titans is they've played all 11 games.
Yep. What is more important is Vijay, the Miles run rate is 2.27, way better
Yes.
than anyone sitting in 2, 3, or 4. So if Miles even get 1 point from the ongoing game, they would secure at least the 4th spot in this particular pool. Okay, let me.
All right, Parthiv, continue on.
Yeah. So in this game, I think the SLCC Legends batting first. I think they had I would say pretty decent score against the Titans. When you're playing a top team, anything around that 100, 110 is always going to be competitive. I think there were decent performances on the Legends side from Ravi Teja, from Harish, from Mahendra. I think those 20s all added up to getting that score to 100. But in the end, I think that the Titans' middle order, and we've talked about this from the start of the season, of how Gaba and Bihar in the middle makes Titans' batting look so much stronger. And that's exactly in this game. I think their partnership for that 4th or 5th wicket made sure that there were no major hiccups during this chase. Because initially, I think it was they started off really badly. They were 2 for 2 in the second over, but after that, Diptikant and Vihar and Satish, I think, made sure that there was calmness, and they, I would say, chased it pretty convincingly. I'm sure that there were butterflies during when the top 2 wickets fell down, but overall, if you see, it was fairly comfortable win for Detroit Titans.
Yeah, Parthiv, I mean, I saw this game live, especially the second half of the game. The first half, I watched the Glads batting, and then once we poured in, we scored over 200 odd runs. Then, I said this game is done and dusted. So I switched to this game and I started watching this game. So I saw the Titans batting, and I'm telling you, Parthiv, Gaba was on 1. All right. Correct me if I'm wrong, KK, but isn't Sandeep Bopidi their keeper?
Yes, that's
or
right.
am I wrong? Well,
Mr.
Bopidi dropped a catch. Well, I can't say dropped a catch in the sense that it was a catch, but a keeper should take that catch. And our friend Gaba was on 1 run. Now, the problem is why I'm saying whether you can call it a drop catch is because you're the keeper, and when the ball goes right underneath your glove and you don't even touch the ball, well, what do you call it? There was a definite chance. You get my point. It's not like you had to dive or something like that. You're a keeper. You got to take those. That's a regulation catch as far as I'm concerned. But your hand didn't even touch the ball. And so, Gaba survived. And from there, Gaba never looked back. And the next thing you know, Gaba scored 28 runs in 39 balls. But again, I think Vihar was that anchor. You can see 27 in 70, and the other guy has scored 28 in 39. But that was a completely controlled innings. He made sure there was no more wickets fall. But this game could have decisively turned in Legends' favor if the keeper had taken Gaba at 1. And then after the game, I and Gaba had a chat, and I said, well, they dropped you at 1. And I remember telling to myself, I wonder how much it's going to cost Legends dropping Gaba at 1. And, he said, oh, so Viju, you were watching my game. I said, yeah, I saw that, they made a terrible boo-boo of that. And, but I think when the Legends go back and look at it, they couldn't dislodge Vihar. They had nothing on Vihar. Vihar was in complete control of the game. They couldn't, ruffle his feathers. And when a score is a 100-run game and you have Vihar in the middle, it becomes a nightmare. Gaba's problem becomes when he runs into teams which have high-octane offense and they put 120, 130, 150 on the board, then it's a tough order for him, because then now you have to change Vihar's spot and all that. That's exactly what you saw when Titans went against Glads. You saw Vihar come way down, because the asking rate is high and things like that, and so you got to promote some of your hitters up the order and things. But usually it doesn't work out. So Vihar in the middle is a terrific option. But again, it all depends on how many runs are you chasing. If you're chasing 70, 80, 90, or even 110, Vihar can get the job done. I think it's over 110, Vihar has a problem.
And I think,
but yeah, fantastic game by Titans. I think they did a fabulous job. So I had picked Legends, and the Titans threw mud on my face.
Well, in this game, I think, as you rightly mentioned, Vihar was the key, because if you are stable, if the partnership is stable on one end, on the other end, the ones can go for boundaries. You see, Deeptikant did the same. He hit 1, 4, 3 sixes. Satish Gaba did the same. He hit 2 boundaries in his 28. Struck at 71. It was a comfortable victory at the end with 5 wickets in hand. But I thought Legends should have scored more, because at 21 overs or 20 overs, they were 84 for 6. And from there, they were all out at 100 runs. I thought they should, when you want to get into playoffs and when you have these high-stake games, scoring 16 runs, losing 5 wickets in the last 5 overs would not do. You should get in excess of 6 runs an over. And because you're batting first, there is not much pressure, and that is exactly where you need to score runs.
Is Parthiv frozen? I mean, it looks like he's frozen. He's wondering whether he lost everybody. I think we lost him.
Yep,
It's the other way around. Yeah. Parthiv has this all the time. We told him last time also that he has very poor connection.
There are 2 Parthivs here.
Yeah, I know. One is the frozen Parthiv, and the other is the warm Parthiv.
Okay. Can you guys hear me and see me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I changed my location in the house. I don't know if that has not helped, I guess.
Well, not a problem. But, let's move on to the next game. The next game is between Knights and FCC. No one saw this coming. Parthiv, over to you.
Yeah, I think this is a game which we all talked about. And I think you had mentioned about FCC not being able to field their 11 because of the TDF tournament, which was organized that same weekend. And we did see, FCC suffer because of this. I think I'm not sure if if this will impact in the long run, these points, but definitely I think, something that they would have not wanted to have. I think this clash, I'm pretty sure they would have tried to avoid it, but with the nature of the rules for TDF and, obviously FCC's involvement and commitment to it, it wasn't something that they could have, tried to make the best of both worlds. In this case, I think Knights played out of this game. I mean, yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I was the one who made the comment about the availability for this game. I think it was, Viju. Right,
Okay.
Vijay?
No.
I'm
I
not
didn't
sure.
make. I mean, how would I know the availability of FCC for this game?
But
I
don't
did
think-
not.
the
I
conversation,
didn't make that.
yeah, the conversation was about these weekend tournaments impacting the
Yeah,
DCL.
no, it was Parthiv himself who brought up the thing that there are these weekend tournaments which is going on and it's impacting various teams and because it's the same 40-50 guys who are going and playing everywhere.
Yeah, then it's not
I
me.
thought it was it's not me who made that comment. It is Parthiv who made that comment.
No, I made the comment after these results as they were unfolding. But in the show previously, I think we had touched upon it when I was. I remember when I was predicting the Raptors game, I had asked the question whether Raptors are involved in this tournament as well because they were playing Thunders, I think, right? So I think that question was asked. I don't think, to your point, KK, I don't think you had mentioned that FCC is going to suffer, but I think we touched upon.
Now that we are clear, right? I don't want my skipper Nishant to say, how come you leak everything out there, on the DCL Prime? Nishant,
No, it wasn't you.
Parthiv. You know where Parthiv lives.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody read with the line because it's a cup where FCC would definitely have more involvement in it, and it's even if he hadn't mentioned it.
But Parthiv, even though you guys are saying that the TDF tournament, other than KK, who is missing here? Yeah, KK, can you please enlighten us? I mean, I see all the main culprits are playing this game.
Not really. Not really, because the FCC GOAT is missing. Sujan Gowra is not playing the game. He won them the game which they should have lost.
Yeah, but are you telling me that just KK and Sujan alone is missing and they can't beat Knights with the kind of firepower they are having?
They tried to change the batting order, Vijay.
Yeah, see, I feel KK, what happened here is that they basically took these guys too lightly. And they changed you can see that Pratik Shadambi, he's an opener. Correct me if I'm wrong.
And Satish is an opener.
Yeah, and these guys came at the bottom half, and you have, I mean, the whole batting order has been changed. And the guys who went on the top of the order...
Nishat is middle order, Shashank is one down.
Yeah. And, Teju was came one down and, he didn't score anything. So, I don't know. I think FCC should have won this game against Knights, irrespective of whether Sujan played or our friend KK played. So I don't know. I think this was a FCC dropping the ball on this one.
Yeah, but I'm surprised that FCC made that switch in the batting order, especially because they were batting second. I can see teams experimenting when they're batting first, but when you're chasing 113, you already know your task is cut out, right? Why would you try a batting order which is not tried and tested in that case? Because once you have a stiff target, I'm pretty sure most captains would have wanted to just basically make sure that they win rather than trying to experiment. I mean, if Knights had scored 50 or 60 or 70, maybe that would have been a different scenario. But yeah, to be honest, if I haven't followed the FCC's batting order too much, but it looks like it's pretty obvious that they changed, and that was a blunder, I think. But if you go back to that game, I think Knights, as I mentioned, played out of their skin. Really, a top-notch performance, scoring 112 runs, and you see a lot of great contributions towards the top. You see the top three batters all in double digits. A great 35 by Krishna. And even towards the end, in Sai Churn, he added those 15 valuable runs. And overall, I think with the help of the extras too, Knights were able to post a pretty decent total. And FCC, I think apart from Prabhu and towards the end, Bhuvan and Satish, there wasn't much of resistance, especially the top order. It was pretty much a reversal of how Knights played versus FCC. Knights had a great start, great top order versus FCC, a top order, or they made up the top order, completely failed. And I think that put a lot of pressure on the middle and lower order, which basically couldn't live up and couldn't reach that total. So overall, I think this will be something that FCC will, want to forget. And hopefully these points don't matter or will not matter in their league in their eventual outcome. But this is a game which probably everyone thought that they would just roll.
Yeah, I mean, Parthiv, I think it is going to count because I think even KK had not expected them to lose to Knights. KK expected them to lose to what is that? Different to Spartans, but not to Knights. But somehow the results ended up the other way around. So KK's original prediction, I think, is probably right with regards to the number of points which FCC will get. But the way it happened is not the way KK had scripted it. But even so, I think this is going to change their first round opponent, because now you probably are going to get a tougher first round opponent.
Yeah, they're going to end up in the second setup.
Second slot. Yeah.
Sorry, I had some technical issue with you. My laptop turned off, so I joined back. You were asking a question, and suddenly, when I was about to answer, it went blank.
Okay, go ahead. You can go ahead with the answer.
So, I mean, it's my availability for this season was very limited. I only played like 40% of the games, right? But Sujan has been winning games for FCC game after game. Even the Spartans game, 1 over 5 to win with enough wickets in hand. You don't expect Spartans to lose and FCC to win that game, but Sujan won FCC that game, and he has played longer than any of the other FCC core folks. Name it Nishant, Tejas, Teju, me, anyone else, right? Sujan has been playing for 10 years for FCC, and he knows. He has pretty much been bowling with the same firepower that he has been over the past 10 years.
All I'm saying, KK, is that FCC didn't need Sujan to beat Knights. I mean, I can understand if FCC is playing a higher round opponent, whether it is I don't know, Stars or
Raptors
somebody like that.
Or something.
Stars or somebody like that, and you need all decks on hand. But in this game, I don't know. I can pretty much vouch for it that 9 times out of 10, FCC will win that game, irrespective of whether Sujan plays or not, at least against Knights. But Knights played out of the skin, and as Parthiv said, the top order of Knights performed, the bottom order of Knights did not perform. For FCC, the top order of FCC did not perform. It was a disaster. But I think they're going to have a tougher first round of what is that?
Not because let me wear the hat of an analyst, right, for this game. Let's think that I'm not playing for FCC. Let me be very critical. Look at the batting scorecard, right? Satish opens the innings, Pratik opens the innings. Right, where are they? Satish is playing number 8. Pratik is playing number 10.
That's what I'm saying.
Where is Amit Dona?
They were all pushed to the bottom order. Yep. So the bottom order of FCC in this game performed, is what I'm saying. The top order in this game did not perform, but usually the top order in this game, you have Pratik and who is that? Satish usually opened the game, right? Correct. But here they're coming in the second half. You see. But my question is, why did Parthiv's question was exactly the same thing, which is why did you change it when you're chasing 112 runs?
Right.
Unless you made a calculation blunder and said, you know what, Knights are nothing. We can easily beat them irrespective of who goes and bats.
I don't think so, because the previous game Knights scored 150 runs and restricted Badshahs for 38 or 39 runs.
Yeah, but that was Badshahs playing with 10 players and a bunch of players who probably are not that good.
But the same Badshahs, scored in excess of 100 against FCC. So that Knights are going to come.
That's the problem with Badshahs, right? We do not know which Badshah team is going to show up.
Exactly. But again, it is just to do with the batting order. It, in my opinion, is a blunder. And except for Prabhu, no one in the top 7 actually applied themselves. Sorry to say that, but again, it was to Satish. Satish and Pratik have played the most number of balls as well for FCC. 209 and 176 balls in the season. They have been holding the fort. They've been giving that slow starts, even though safe starts. In this game, that has not happened. The wickets fell in a flurry. If you can scroll down, Satya, a bit.
So you mean you are telling Nishant that you have to take KK and Sujan in the team every time?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, with whatever resources you have to manage it much better.
Okay, just pulling. Okay.
Yeah.
No. I mean, KK, I agree. I mean, even without Sujal and KK, you give me this team, I will beat Knights.
Yep. Exactly. That is what I'm telling you.
That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is enough this thing to get the job done. But I think the application on how they went about it in this game did not make much sense.
Yes.
At least to me, it did not make sense.
Mm-hmm. And Satya, do you mind making me the presenter yet again? Because I think I was kicked out and now it's
Yeah, just a minute. I'm missing something. Okay, 1 minute. Yeah. Yes.
By the way, the next game, KK, you got the answer. Our friend Golden Boy asked you a big question in Michigan Cup game. Who is this? Is Hawks a tough opponent? I think he found out the answer in this game, didn't he?
And who gave the answer? I made it a bit larger for everyone to see the one who gave the answer.
Yeah. So I think Kaushik was there when this conversation took place, right?
Yes. We were all sitting
so Kaushik made it his main goal for the next 2 weeks. He had only one focus: getting rid of Golden Boy.
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Those bragging rights are there for the rest of the season, definitely. And this game, I mean, completely one-sided. Troy Hawks, Pradeep Conreddy, I think his innings, made essentially the difference. I mean, Safaris made less than what Pradeep made. Pradeep had 73 and Safaris got folded for 63. And on the Safari side, I think we had all talked about how they were improving. They started the season really well, but I think they're kind of getting back to old habits, and largely part of that is because Rahul, our golden boy, who we had hyped up last year and had lived to his expectation. He won the Rookie of the Year award at DCL 9, hasn't delivered, and this is something which has been kind of a string of low scores. I mean, you see, he's probably got a duck for at least 3 or 4 games. Not even low scores, it's just getting out on ducks. And so I think somehow his technique or his way of playing has been exposed and people are getting him out in a similar manner.
Parthiv, out of this, there is 9, 10 games. Out of 10 games, you can see that he had 2 DNBs, if I'm not mistaken, all right? And then the thing is that I think 2 times he was not out. Here is a not out here. And then 4 are LBWs. This game he got bowled, so that's fine. And then there was, I think, one caught kind of a thing. But yeah, I mean, Satya, can you compare how much he has scored this year compared to last year? That'll give us a clear-cut indication of how much the drop-off is.
Yeah, are you able to see my screen? Because
I'm seeing. I'm not sure whose screen I'm seeing.
It's KK screen.
KK.
Yeah, that's
okay. All right. All right. So
let's look at it. 2022 for 149, and in 2021 he scored 188.
Okay.
But the point is, look at the number of 25s, right?
Yep. Yeah. If you look at the 22, the string of scores which you brought up, I think there were 2 big scores which have basically made those numbers kind of swell up. One was against Phantoms, and then another, I think there was a 50 against Dynamite. So if you take out those 2 innings, it's basically a very average season as compared to last year. Where
I'm curious with regards to the number of wickets taken. Can you click on the bowling statistics? Yep. How many wickets has he taken this year compared to last year?
Last year is the same number of wickets.
Same number of wickets. Okay.
Yeah. So bowling is there. I think it's just the consistency which is probably missing from last year. I think last year he had good scores. All
he's staying in the same place. Others are getting better.
He's staying in the same place, but others are getting better on his team, or you're talking about opposite?
No, in the overall tournament. Because in the same score, he was top last year, but not this year. Okay.
Oh, you're saying that the overall everybody else has suddenly raise the level of their
Yeah.
games, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at just stats, I mean, I think that, those two scores, as I said, skew the number of runs. But I think overall his consistency is not there yet. And last year, obviously, he was a brand new entity and, a totally unknown quantity. But now I think people know about him. So there's no surprise factor or the rookie factor now. He's going to be compared again. He's going to be compared against everyone else.
So KK, is it safe to say Safaris are out of the tournament?
Yeah, I said
Or
that.
they still. Yeah, I know. But this game,
last game is Legends Safaris. Whoever wins, they are in, right?
Not necessarily, because you'll have to get in as the sixth team, and we still have to see what the sixth team in the other place, how many points they are going to end up with.
But I think the sixth team is from our pool. Nobody is going to end up more than 26, I think.
No, I mean, by KK's prediction, the sixth team is from Pool B. Correct, KK?
Yes, that's
Hitman, right?
Now things might change.
I mean, but things might change, because if Hitman lose, the sixth team now jumps back to Pool C, I'm guessing.
Even if Hitman wins, and if Legends win against Miles, things would look
and
good.
Legends beat Safaris, the Legends goes through.
Yep.
No. My question is, if Legends wins today, they are like 26 and Safaris is 24, and Legends Safaris will be the game who makes sixth place, right?
Correct.
No, but look at Hitman. If Hitman wins,
they'll
so Hitman, they are at 24. If they win today, they go to 29. So they'll become the sixth team, right? They're not Legends.
So
okay.
Here is the thing.
Right now, Hitman control their own destiny. And if they lose today, they have no one to blame but themselves.
If Hitman wins today, and if also Safari wins against Legends, what happens is Hitman will be at 29, Safaris will be at 29, but run rate wise, both these teams are almost the same, minus 0.55, minus 0.57. So whoever wins with more margin is going to get through. Or if
my money is on Legends. I mean, I was skeptical about today's game, but from how it's shaping up, Legends have a taller score, and it looks. I mean, they look very favorable to win. And if they win, if they win Miles,
don't bet against Miles, because Miles beat our friend Vijay Shanmugam, who brought 2 or 3 international players into the game, right? I mean, remember that move was choreographed, and Legends sent them. No, sorry, Miles sent them miles back to Pakistan, I guess. Those 2 international players.
But today, as of today, if I have to bet, I mean, looking at the current situation, Miles is starting up the batting.
One more thing you have to take into consideration. Next week, the 9th, is going to be F40 quarterfinals. So you don't get Harish or Srikanth Narne or most of these guys. So
I think you might get Srikanth Narne, but
and Guru Naga might be too.
I think Guru Naga is probably more committed to T-ball. I don't know. KK can answer that.
No, I'm just saying the possibilities.
Guru Naga doesn't play F40, so for him, DCL is priority, and the T20 season.
But still, they need Mahendra, Harish,
yes,
Srikanth, all these guys.
I mean, with Mahendra and Harish, there might be conflicts, but Srikanth, I think his shoulder is still injured, right? I don't think he's playing much of.
But he's bowling today. He's opened the bowling today.
Yes, he is bowling.
Injured shoulder or not, playoff life is on the line, so he has opened the bowling. So I think it's game on. We'll see.
Satya, you've done all your homework, making sure that Legend doesn't come 16th.
No, I don't think Legends. I don't think Legends can be 16th, Parthiv, because I think who's that? I mean, didn't we have the team who's going to end up from Pool A, the 5th team? That's probably the team which is going to end up at 16. But again, Parthiv, let me assure you that there is still debate about who's going to end up at 1. Satya still has work to do, because his good buddy Vijay Shanmugam has brought 2 international players. But let me tell you, I did get a 1.5 hour call from Vijay Shanmugam yesterday, telling me the reason why he brought the international players for the Miles game.
Wow. Yeah, that's going to be,
All right.
if he brings those players, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Anyways, let's go back to our game. I think.
Yeah, and I'm going to cut down my analysis because we are also looking at this other scorecard. So I'll just keep my analysis to a bare minimum, Parthiv. So feel free to rush through things.
All right. So in this game, I just wanted to point out, so it wasn't just the bat which Pradeep contributed with, but it was also the ball. So it was a close call for me when I had to choose like the game changer of the week. I think he was definitely one of the ones which I was looking at. But because of the difference in how they won, and so easily they won, I opted for the other person. I opted for Hitman's Arun, because that was a crucial game for Hitman. But to be, I think Troy Hawk's bowling looks awesome. I think they all are looking all wicket taking bowlers. Sorry. Okay, all wicket taking bowlers, all are contributing, as you can see, three threes shared between Kaushik and Santosh and Pradeep. I think definitely, apart from that hiccup which happened last week against Pokhris, where the team didn't show up. I think Troy Hawks have been very consistent. So hopefully for Troy Hawks and Santosh, and this form kind of continues, and Kaushik keeps delivering and keeps carrying that flag.
Parthiv, continue on.
Okay, let's move on to the next game, KK.
Well, the next game is Hawks versus Canton 11. Another game where prediction went against the analysts.
Yeah, this week was a horrible week for predictions. I think I'm very curious to see my scores, but I've got a lot of things wrong. And this was one of the games. I mean, I'm pretty sure this was chosen as the showcase game of the week. Didn't even live up to that expectation. I think Javed Bhai would be extremely disappointed.
Disappointed. Yes, disappointed.
Yeah. Very
Parthiv,
disappointed.
Mirror on the wall. Guess what? The bear is chasing me now.
Oh my God.
And you know why? Thanks to me trusting Javed Bhai. I picked Javed Bhai. When I pick against Canton 11 wins the game. When I pick Canton 11, they lose the game. Anyway, continue on. I mean, but all credit to Naresh and the Hawks.
Yeah, even in the show, I think Javed Bhai was more excited about next week's prospect than this game. He was more he was more talking about Sterling strikers and how excited they were to beat them. But one step at a time, I guess, is what is recommended. And in this case, Hawks, brilliant batting display. I think that 112 runs, 103 runs, which they put on board, put a lot of pressure on Canton 11. I think Sachin and then Naresh in the middle played a superlative inning. He was there on the call, and he talked about how this new team is going to be a force to reckon with in the coming years. And definitely with this kind of performance, we can definitely be looking forward to Hawks competing and getting to that next level where they are a team to reckon with, a team that is looked upon as a playoff team. His innings here of 38, 4 sixes, I think made that difference. And as Canton 11 batted, apart from a couple of performances by both Javed and Adesh, nobody really contributed, and the highest score was the extras. So when that happens, we all know how badly the team has performed. From the bowling side, I think Shashank was all over Canton 11. He picked up wickets at the top, which basically stalled the chase, and then towards the end he finished up with a fifer. So great performance by Hawks. And even though this is something that we called upon the showcase game, didn't live up, but it didn't live up to the expectation. But we can expect Hawks to be now in strong contention for playoff spot.
Yeah, Parthiv, I want to say this was an outstanding performance by the Hawks. only Satya picked the Hawks. And I remember last show, Naresh saying, thanks, Satya, bro, for supporting me. And the rest of the three of us.
He and Vikram separately texted me after the game.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Saying what?
Saying, we won the game. Thanks for supporting us.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say this was a phenomenal game by Naresh. He's correct me if I'm wrong. He's the game changer of the week. I mean, at least I voted for Naresh for the game changer of the week, and he deserved it. I mean, this is a phenomenal batting performance, and then that 5-wicket haul. I mean, they really came and gave it all. And I remember that one line which Naresh said last week, Zach bro, we are more than Vikram Reddy, Gaulamari. We have few others also and things like that. And it's more than just Vikram and me. There are others. And sure enough, this game, I think Shashank heard it and said, let me put my name into the hat as to, hey, I'm also a phenomenal player. And that 5-wicket haul sunk Canton 11. But Canton 11, I mean, they control the destiny. Now the advantage has gone back to Hawks, wherein now Hawks pretty much can make the playoffs, compared to Canton 11. And Canton 11 will look back at this game, just like they look back at the FCC Agni game, where they lost a game where they felt that they should have won easily. Well, this game, when you score pretty much almost only half of what the other team has scored, I can't even say that you deserve to win this game. I mean, I waited till Hari Pallava got out, and once Pallava got out, I felt the writing on the wall was pretty clear. But congrats to Naresh. He did a phenomenal job. Again, I think there are a few teams where the leadership part has been outstanding, and we have to call them out and say that Naresh is, last week when he came, he really impressed me with the way in which he was able to conduct himself and show that leadership skill and also awareness and things like that, and taking that team forward. I was very impressed with the way Chanakya was leading the team, even though he was not able to get them to the promised land. The approach I felt was outstanding. And then there are a few other teams which have really done well, like FCC. We already talked about it, that Nishant's leadership was outstanding. Of course, we say that, and then this week Nishant comes and pours water on our heads, you see. But having said that, there are a few teams which has really done outstanding performances, and you have to give credit to the captain there, because the captaincy has been outstanding. But all credit to Naresh and company. Fantastic effort. With regards to Canton 11, I don't know what to say to Javed Bhai. I mean, Javed Bhai had me all excited, thinking that, I was going to take one more point lead on Satya, only to find out that I'm the guy the bear is trying to eat halfway down the line.
Well, Vijay, in this game, I think Shashank has bowled phenomenally well, right?
That's what we were saying. That 4 overs, 9 runs and 5 wickets.
No, 7 of them are wides. He only gave 2 runs with the bat. That's good to see.
I didn't see the 7 wides, but yes.
And in fact, when Naresh was on the call last week, I was on the show last week, he mentioned that Shashank was actually leading a few teams before he moved to Michigan. He was playing in Illinois and he led a few teams. So that leadership skills also helps Naresh. He has mentioned it once in the past as well. So great to see Shashank performing in this game.
And also Naresh introduced his team very well. I mean, that again came well prepared for the show. And again, Vamsi, 15 are wide. So basically 38 runs only came off the bat.
Right. And maybe I don't know what's going on in Javed's mind, but Hari was their best batsman. He scored 80 odd runs, and you're sending him 5 down. He usually plays 2 down or 3 down. I mean, once you score runs, you want to make that position your own, not play around the batting order. Have a consistent position for at least your top performers.
Yeah, let's move on, I guess.
Let's move
on.
On.
Both the teams. Before when we go to the next game, both the teams have that task cut out with playing in the Thunders and Sterling Strikers respectively. So both lose, Hawks go through. If both win, still the Hawks go through. Now it all depends on who loses more points.
Yep.
The bonus point will definitely come into equation. All those things will come into equation. But Hawks definitely, have the upper edge with that extra bonus point.
Correct. A quick view into the ongoing games. Hitman folded for 74, Rising Stars are 14 for 0. I think this game is more inclined towards Rising Stars. And on the other hand, SLCC Legends got to 121. I was predicting 120 earlier. We got to 121. Miles started well. Let's see how it ends.
Yeah, I mean, I think the second game is going to be more interesting. I think the other one, the Rising Stars, are probably like the boa constrictor. They are slowly constricting the life out of Hitman.
Yep. Let's move on to the next game for analysis. It's Indus Thunders versus MI Rangers. One other one-sided game where.
I mean, I was expecting this to be a little closer than what it turned out to be, and it was our man Praveen Bangera who made all that difference. And his, every now and then there is a game-changing performance from him, and this was one of them. Single-handedly, those 72 runs, supported a little bit by the others like the 20s and the 10s but overall I think his innings stands out. And we all know how big Praveen Bangera is, and he's basically been one of the players that has been able to shift between that leather ball and the tee ball. Very few players I can count on my fingers who are equally good at that, and Praveen is definitely one of the ones who's able to kind of switch between different formats, different balls, different conditions with relatively ease. So he's always a guy in any team that you want to get rid of very quickly. In this case, MI Rangers weren't able to do that, and they paid the price. And when you're chasing a tall target of 150, no matter what the bowling is, how bad it is, you're always going to be under pressure to start off with. And in this, obviously has a very good bowling order, and they basically, between Rahul and Sriharsha and coupled with a couple of runouts, I think they just made sure that there were no major hiccups. MI Rangers hasn't been a season that they would really cherish. They started off with that COVID situation, so that didn't help. And then coming out of that COVID situation, where they had to play some back-to-back games, it didn't really start off well with them. And ultimately, I think this season is a season where we expected a lot from Rangers, but hasn't been there yet. So hopefully they can take this off season, play these next few tournaments and get back their mojo, which was there until last year, where they were always looked upon as a threatening team.
Well, in this game, right, Padit, it's not the Rangers unit. You don't see that. There is no Abhilash, there is no Aditya, there is no Push, there is no Ifti, no Jitender, no Shravan Gaud, no Anil. 7 of your team members are not there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Syed Khan, I don't remember him playing before. Praveen Reddy, Venkat Gandam, these are all playing their first game this year, if I'm not mistaken. And so also this Ashish Kanduri, I don't remember seeing him before on the scorecard. So if you go and look at it, I feel that these guys are all playing first game this season, you see. And so if you have 4 players playing first game, well, they're not going to get anything much done, especially when you're going against the champs.
Correct.
So,
Venkat Gandam 1 game, Syed Khan 1 game, Ashish 1 game.
As far as I'm concerned, the only thing of academic interest to me now is to see how much Mr. Bangera goes for in the DCL draft. That's the thing which I'm curious about.
He's definitely on my top 5 players to go.
Yeah, I know that he's probably there on Vamsi's top 5, and he's probably there on my top 5 and things like that. So it'll be like I either get this guy or get this guy kind of a thing. So
Satya is doing this. Satya is doing this. I'll raise the bid.
No, but he can only put them into 3 categories. It's the 3 of us doing the bidding, right?
Yep.
Yeah. By the way, Vamsi, did you get your 2 advisors?
I mean, I'm shortlisting them. I'm trying to recruit them.
Okay. Do we know who they are?
Not yet. I have a list of 6 probables with you.
Okay.
Wow.
We are waiting for that so that we can get moving.
True. I for a second forgot and also approached Sanjay, but he said I'm the auctioneer. You can't, ask me.
He's the auctioneer. He can't. So you can't recruit him. But Parthiv already got one of his recruits. He's waiting.
Yep.
He's waiting for the answer for the second one. It's your his one of his recruits is your buddy from the TDF tournament.
Who is he?
Yep. Vadnala.
Nice.
And
then I'm waiting for Samish to confirm. So
okay.
And then I'm also actively brainstorming team names. I'm trying to figure out.
He's trying to figure out how to outdo the blistering barnacles.
I'm going to put the balm on the blisters.
Talking about that, right? I think Parthiv, he himself played very well in this game. I'll let him speak.
This was a very satisfying game, both as a team as well as personally. I think we were, when we talked about this in our practice session, we wanted to make sure we don't slip up because the next game is going to be against Stars. So we wanted to make sure we go with a situation where we are not trying to do a do or die situation. So we wanted to make sure we, get our foot firmly into the playoffs and have a better standing. So with that mindset, I think when we bowled, we lost the toss and SSK batted first, and I think we bowled really well. Very disciplined effort, and all my bowlers have been credit to them. A huge shout out to them. Rohit and Kapil and Binod, all of them have been delivering every game. Deepak as well, call him out as well. He's been outstanding as well. We still kind of are on the fringe on the fifth bowler, and that's something that we've been actively working on. But these four bowlers have been outstanding throughout the season. If you look at their stats, I think the wickets are pretty much divided between them. That's why you don't have a standout performer. And we were able to get SSK out for 65. I was a little surprised, I would say, from playing SSK. I expected them to come really strong, especially because for them it was a do or die game. So I expected them to come really strong. But there wasn't a lot of intent shown on the field. I think the 65 runs which they made in 23 overs was a kind of a drag. Yes, we kept picking wickets, but there was no real effort made apart from, I think, one of the batters, I forgot his name. Can you scroll up a little bit? I think one of the batters did trouble us a little. Yeah, Kalyan. Yeah, he was the only guy who actually had, tried to kind of take on the bowlers. He was holding the fort and then, taking calculated risks, but there wasn't any much support from anyone throughout the order. And on the batting side, I think this is probably one of the ones which every captain relishes. When you win by 6 wickets and you have, your scoreboard looks like a comfortable win, because I always keep telling my players, we want to win and we want to make sure that the scoreboard reads that way, that we basically won comprehensively. I hate winning like 6 down, 7 down, and it looks like it was, a pretty tough game. So this time around, we made sure that we chased it relatively easy.
Yeah, Parthiv, I thought it was a comprehensive win. KK, I do not know. I told you this analogy before. 4 of us are running from the bear. All 4 of us don't need to outrun the bear. Only you need to outrun the slowest competitor, you see. So I feel that last week I said that our friend Azim, he heard Parthiv and he had a point to prove, and he came in with a 2-over spell of 2 runs. And I said, when is the last time Parthiv had stats similar to that? So Parthiv heard that, and he came this week and said, let me show you, Viju, that I too can have similar stats this year. And sure enough, it was one hell of a performance. 3 overs, 1 maiden, 7 runs, 3 wickets, no wides. And so the best bowler turning the clock back in this contest. And on top of that, he went 1 down and controlled the innings. I hope Parthiv gave himself the man of the match award. Otherwise, I would be very disappointed, because I hope he didn't do a Vijay Shanmugam, wherein our friend Suresh Babu Balakrishnan gets all the important wickets, but he goes and gives the man of the match award to Sai Gogineni, and but we say that Suresh was good enough to be even game changer of the week. So I think this was a comprehensive win. This is a great win before the Stars game. So the Stars game is going to be critical. So it will be nice to see how strikers do against Stars, and we'll be having the showcase game of the week. Two of them come on the show. Kapil, who has been doing very well with the ball after he came back, and he always does well with the bat. So congrats to strikers. Hard luck for SSK. I think SSK needs to go and do some serious thinking on how to make the playoffs.
Well, Viju, talking about man of the matches, right? I think it's always an issue when you're bowling second, right? Because the team which loses might be the one who is scoring, and at the end of the game, the three clubs gives you an option: choose the man of the match, and they can choose anyone randomly, and they'll close out the scorecard. And that is where
go
exactly
and change it, KK, later.
To be honest, but yeah, in August, how many of us really get to spend that amount of time? But yes, if you are the keeper, you are expected to do that. But I'm just telling that, I've seen that happen. The teams which are scoring second, even though they lose the game, the batting teams, they end up selecting their own as the man of the match. They don't even consult the other captains.
Yeah, that actually reminds me of an incident which happened this season, where two teams played, and like you said, the bowling team awarded the man of the match to one of the players, and then there was emails going back and forth. I think there was a 15 email thread where the batting team posed that they need to give the man of the match to the batting or the winning team, because there was a standout performance then, and they went back and forth, and the committee had to adjudicate who the man of the match should be, and we had to kind of take a vote amongst ourselves, because it wasn't as clear as just picking the batsman, because there was a standout performance from the bowling team as well. But in the end, like I think which always happens, you tend to go with the winning team. But it was a funny incident where two teams were kind of fighting over this scorecard, man of the match.
Yeah, I mean, KK, sorry, Parthu, I always had a standing rule. Whenever I played a game, if we lost the game, I have absolutely no right to take that right upon myself to award the man of the match. I feel that the minimum courtesy says that give it to the winning captain, let him call who he wants as the man of the match. After all, if my man was so great, then why didn't my team win? If I couldn't get the win, then you should be good enough to, that man of the match should be good enough to get your team the win.
Mm-hmm.
We had a rule in the past where committee used to say that, hey, man of the match will be decided by the winning team captain, so that we can avoid this. So this argument happened this year, I'm assuming, Parthu?
That is right. Yep.
Okay. All right. Because I didn't see it in the regular group, so it obviously happened between the captains and the committee.
Yes.
Well, Viju, this game was played between FCC and your favorite team, Detroit Bacha. In this game, there is only one score in excess of, I think, 20. That is Umair Tahir. He opened the innings, played throughout, scored 68. And FCC's keeper adjudicated him to be the man of the match, because he deserved it the most than anyone else, because the next best performance was 22 runs.
Agreed. So there it is, Nishant using his prerogative as the winning captain. And I have no issues with that, right? I mean, right. I would respect that kind of a man of the match more than if Alishan went and gave it to his own player, you see, because, of course, it's your own player, so you would automatically want to give the man of the match. But in this case, it is Nishant who's coming and saying, you know what, hey, I think your player deserves it. So that becomes even more valuable.
True. And let's move on to this game again, right? Do you have anything to add, Viju? I think in the interest of time, we have to rush.
No, I don't. And I know that we are running out of time. So
the next game is Hitmen versus Detroit Bulls. We all expected Hitmen to win. And with Detroit Bulls not having their core players, they were half the team that they were before, and now the result also proves the same. They only scored about half of what Hitmen scored in this game. So, Parth, if you don't mind, I'll quickly run through this game.
Yep, go ahead.
Hitman, I think, came into this game with full might, and their skipper has decided that come what may, he want to contribute to the team and see them win. And I think he put up a great innings. 36 runs of 51 balls, no boundaries, rotating all throughout, and well, they had a good finish. Chetan Venkatesh, who is known for his bowling prowess in this game, scores 22 out of 8 balls. That's the kind of finish that takes the score, makes the difference between the score ending up at 95 or 112. Then that is what happened in this game. Except for Sandeep Palakkal, not much contribution from the Detroit Bulls campaign, I would say. And when it comes to batting, take out Sandeep Palakkal again. The rest of what you say is a phone number. 0040272518. So if that's not the kind of performance you want to put, be it your captain is not available in the game, or your most capped player is not available for the game, but you still have a game to play. There are 12 people who can still play the game, and if you're not even able to score into the double digits, 10 of the batsmen scoring in single digits, I don't think that is how you want to enjoy your weekends. Let me put it that way. But all in all, Hitman completely outplayed Detroit Bulls, took a victory with 50 runs, improved their chances of getting into the playoffs. So we'll have to see how the rest of the games unfold.
Yeah, now here is the problem. Hitman did a wonderful job here, KK, but in the other game, the Rising Stars are doing a boa constrictor on the Hitman.
Yep,
and
I heard on
it's a no loss, and Rising Stars seem to be slowly stuffing the life out of the Hitman.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very, very completely opposite of what they did last weekend.
True.
Yeah. Let's
the
move on.
The next game, I think in the interest of time, Viju, I'll hand it over to you.
All right. I don't know what I can say. I mean, I told you that this was going to be probably, trust me, KK, we had 15 players or 16 players available for the game. And I told you last week itself, we will not field our best unit. And we did not field our best unit because there were 4 or 5 guys who needed to get qualified. So I remember before the game, Taif saying, let's go ahead and go with our best unit or whatever it is. And I said, no, what happens if in playoffs, if we run short of players? So let us play everybody who needs to get qualified if they are available, and given their availability, go ahead and play them. So that's exactly what we did. Manjinder is not qualified, so we played him. Ashraful was not qualified, so we played him. Salman was not qualified, so we played him. Swarup Bhai was not qualified, so we played him. So we had a whole bunch of these things. But it was a show by Shanavas. But it was outstanding. When you scored 92 in 55, I thought a century was on the cards. I remember sending a note somewhere around when he was 65. Through Anup, went into the middle and said, hey, Viju is asking you to cut down the aggressive batting and just wants you to score a century. I was really, with my fingers crossed, saying that I was hoping that he will hit a century. But he was very aggressive. And when you're that aggressive, you pay the price. And that's why we got out. But he didn't go for the big hit when he got out. But there were a number of chances. And I'm not sure if Phantoms ever dropped that many catches. Trust me, KK. If we had to get to 221, we needed some help. And I think the Phantoms helped us. That's the honest assessment.
Okay.
But I walked away from the game. Having respect for them. It's a very disciplined unit. Only Amitabh, I think, performed with the bat. But the thing is that I still see an upward trajectory for Phantoms because of their way in which their leadership is performing, their discipline with which they play. Everything positive is all I could say about Phantoms, with the exception that they dropped so many catches. And I doubt they dropped so many catches in the whole season is what I'm guessing, because I think Shan himself had so many lives gifted to him. So, but numerous batsmen had lives gifted to them. So we wouldn't have got to 221. The only reason we got to 221 is because our opposition was very generous to us.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that's about all I have. That's all I have to say on that game.
Yeah, but you can also say that maybe the game against Gladiators, it's a cause for intimidation. Maybe that also plays on the minds of the players sometimes, and they'll learn. So
yeah, more than intimidation, I think, I was talking to Amitabh and I was basically letting him know, to play a big team, you just basically need to come out of the awe. And then only you can beat a big team. Because I think even while talking to Amitabh, he had already kind of given up even before starting. So when you have that mindset, when you already know you're playing a big team and big players, you need to come up without that mindset of that awe of, oh, we are going to play these guys.
well, that's right, Padre, well said. The next game we're going to review is Stars versus Local Boys. Even though the scorecard reached that Stars outplayed Local Boys, it's not the true story, because Stars at one time, I thought they're going to repeat one of their earlier games where they get bundled out. They were 6 for 24, and if not for Sham and Arshad, who actually put up a fight and gave them those runs, I think Stars would have been looking at a major upset here.
We were planning biryani and jalebi and all that when I was seeing Stars going down like that. I was like, whoa, this has made it easy for us.
You can turn around games, Partha, because just now you said Rising Stars are playing well. Look at what happened, 30 for 2 suddenly.
I think they're still safe. I think it's still okay. But yeah, to be honest, like you said, Stars were really self-destructing at the top of the order, and then that innings which made that difference. But at the start, definitely, I think I was hoping that Stars would repeat that performance at the start of the season where they basically just rolled over.
True, and with the kind of bowling they have, right? Anvesh, Deepak, Satya. I mean, Sean just rolled his arm there, but and with Venki, I think they should be able to restrict those 112, and they did that exactly. A good season, good start for Local Boys, but not the way they wanted to end it. But nevertheless, 4 victories in the first season. Next year, maybe they'll be looking at more.
Yeah, and I think Local Boys is one of the teams which has come in and outperformed our expectations. So all credit to their skipper and their set of players. I mean, yeah, sure, they didn't make it to the playoffs, but you can count on your one hand fingers how many teams who have come very first time into the league have made the playoffs.
Well, I was wrong, Vijay. They in fact have another game coming up. That last game is against KRCC. It's really a good learning but look at them. 10 games, 4 wins, 6 losses, 17 points. They are about Strangers, they are about Guardians, they are about Rising Stars. So they did well.
Yeah, I do agree.
Okay, the next game is probably the Masala game of the night.
Yes, I'm going to have Viju summarize this game and take the lead on this one, because I'm pretty sure that phone call from Vijay has a lot of masala in it.
Partha, remember, Vijay thought nobody in the world knows that he got these players. But even before any waiver came into the committee on Wednesday itself, I sent a forwarded text to you guys saying that these guys would be playing. And when I say about these guys I'm talking about Nauman, who scored some 83 runs in a Mishka game in about 19 balls. He's an international player. And so also Mohsin. He's also, both of them were playing for in the minor league. Their team got knocked out of the playoffs, so now they were available. And sure enough, Dynamites knew that if they can win the last 2 games, they are into the playoffs. Now, obviously, Vijay has a reasoning for it. I remember I did get a 1.5 hour call this morning. That is today morning for me, which is, last night for you. So about, I'm talking about, when I say this morning, it's okay. We're talking about 18 hours ago. So about 18 hours ago, Vijay called me. We had a 1.5 hour discussion, and he told me why MCC, why he had to bring these 2 players. And his reasoning was he brought these 2 players for this game for the simple reason that he did not want it to be whitewashed by MCC Miles. He had only 3 people available. And, people were going out of town. Satish Shankara was gone to the temple. And I don't know, they had only availability of 3 players or 4 players. So he went out and did what he had to do to make sure that he's not whitewashed and humiliated by MCC Miles. Having said that, we all knew that, the equation was very simple. Win the last 2 games, you're in the playoffs. Of course, you lose, but also the problem was the last 2 games was against Miles and Glads, and probably it doesn't get tougher than that. So the way the Miles have been playing this season. And so, yes, this is the game in which you can see this guy scored 83 runs in 19 balls. So
Whoa.
it was a one hell of a recruitment, strike rate of 437. It's not easy to do it. At least even in my dreams, I can't do it. So you have to give credit to Vijay Shanmugam to bringing them on. But you know what? The rivalry between Gaba and Vijay Shanmugam is ever alive. And Gaba also wanted me to ask Vijay Shanmugam a question, just like Vijay Shanmugam asked Gaba a question last week, where, remember, Vijay Shanmugam texted me and asked me to ask Gaba the question, why he took Vijay Shanmugam's players and are now benching them. You get my point? So now the question is, hey, Vijay Shanmugam has his regular players, and all of a sudden in this game against MCC Miles, he seems to have benched all his regular players and played all these international players. So that's a fair question. If Gaba has that question, I mean, that's fair enough for Gaba to ask. I mean, in the sense that, hey, why are you doing that? But nevertheless, the thing is that, Vijay Shanmugam's answer is that he had a terrible shortage of players. Now, if you want to buy that answer, please go ahead and buy the answer. I'm not so sure I fully buy the answer part. I'm being honest with you. I think it was more, hey, I want to win this game and make the playoffs, because come what may, I would like to make the playoffs. But there's nothing wrong with that, in the sense that if you don't want to make the playoffs, then I will question, why in the world are you playing? You should want to make the playoffs. That's the only way in which you... Hey, Hari, how are you?
Yeah. I'm doing good, guys. Thank you.
All right. Just give us a minute, Hari, to finish off this game. But that's pretty much it, Parthiv. I thought this was a fantastic game. But give all credit to Rahul Chenna. The Chenna of last year showed up. I think he played a phenomenal innings. And, 55. And this is Mohammad Mohsin is a very good bowler. And so it didn't make any difference. I mean, he scored his 55 against some really top-class bowling. And I also heard in this game that there was one player from the Dynamites, who shall not be named, who came drunk, completely punch drunk for the game. Yep, completely punch drunk. He was drinking till 6:30 in the morning or 6:45 in the morning, and then he showed up to the game and he had a dismal performance. No surprises there. So, but again, playing the first game for Dynamites. But nevertheless, we'll leave him unnamed. But I thought it was, very unprofessional to do that, But if he continues to do that, next time we will name him openly, and I have no problems doing that. But congrats to Miles. But nevertheless, Dynamites got the bonus point, but that's not going to do them much good, because they needed a win.
Mm-hmm. The next game is Patriots versus GLCC. Parthiv?
Yeah, this game, I think, we expected it to be much closer. Patriots have been on the rise recently. They've been playing well. They definitely looked, and they still look very good to go to the playoffs with Hitman losing out. So they're definitely in the favorites. But in this game, I think they didn't show any much fight. And again, this was another game which I think I attributed to the TDF tournament. I'm not sure. I'm not very close to the squad, but maybe you guys can help me if that is the reason why Patriots, probably didn't match up against GLCC. But on the other hand, GLCC have been having a ball of a season. They've been winning matches easily, apart from that one hiccup that happened a while ago against local boys. They've been steamrolling opponents, and their batting and bowling is looking strong with Akash and Abhishek and Ajit. All those guys, all those veterans, performing day in and day out. And with the ball, you have the evergreen Samish picking wickets along with Akash, and they have a pretty solid template with the batting and the bowling, and I see them carrying on this into the playoffs. So all in all, a very comprehensive win, I would say, for GLCC.
Yeah, I agree, Partha. So I really don't have anything much to add on this game. Again, I think Patriots severely compromised. But even if they had their full team, GLCC would have still taken them out, is what I feel. So let's move on.
Yep. Because me and Sai were playing on the same team in TDF.
And Vadnala was also playing there, and I'm assuming Srikanth Gauni was also playing there.
Yeah, all the
Srikanth
Falcon
Gauni,
guys.
I have not seen Srikanth Gauni in TDF this year, but
Okay.
He is in India right now.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Hari knows.
Yeah.
Harry is still keeping in touch with his ex-teammates.
Of course, we're all our friends. We are all friends. End of day. So
yeah, that's great.
Yep. The next game is United Raptors versus Sterling Striker Sodi Padre.
Yeah, this is a game where Armindan made all the difference. His blistering start at the top of the order, I think, was the reason why United Raptors made those 117 runs. But in the end, I think it was another one of this game which I think was impacted by the TDF tournament. I don't see Kiran, who's been quite a vital cog in their bowling and batting. I think Anjuru is missing as well. So there are a few players which I don't see. And then there were fillers. I see Sai Vishwanath coming in to play. I know Vikas hasn't played a lot of games as well. So they brought in a few of their old stalwarts to just basically make the 11. But even then, with 117, I think Raptors had the score on the board. But I guess they badly missed their famed bowling attack. I think Sterling Strikers, had enough weapons even without our boss Ali Abbas. I think the Brownstown guys, and I think Viju, you had called out that the Sterling Strikers team looks more Brownstown. And that
Partha, in our private conversation, I did say that this is not a Sterling Strikers unit. This is a Brownstown unit, because you look at all those guys, almost many of them, were Brownstown players. Saad Salman was a Brownstown player, Rashid Malik, Rehan Malik, all those guys, Rehan Bukhari, all those guys played. So definitely a Brownstown unit there. Probably Rashid Malik was the skipper there, I'm guessing. But all credit to Sterling Strikers. We did not expect. I mean, when I saw this lineup, I thought Raptors are going to kill them. And the next thing you know, Sterling Strikers won the game. I never saw that coming. And if you had told me that this was going to be the starting lineup, I would have signed a $100 check and said that, you know what, definitely Raptors are going to win the game. And I would have lost the $100 check also. So I'm glad I did not do that. I mean, I was that confident seeing the lineup that, and I think Sterling Strikers probably, Partha, the India-Pakistan game was going on. And so I think many of these guys went to watch that game, you see, rather than play for Sterling Strikers.
Yep. And I think that is one question which I now want to ask Mansab. But now that Brownstown has become Sterling Strikers again, I know he had left Brownstown because of his own personal reasons, and he didn't really go along with the Brownstown management. But now with pretty much everybody in Sterling Strikers, I wonder whether he's what his opinion is now. Like,
he just wanted a proper playing 11 or 12, a competitive 11 or 12. That is what he mentioned last time. Every week they were not having proper 11 or 12.
Parthiv, I don't think he ever said that he had a problem with the Brownstown guys. He got along very well with Rashid, if I'm not mistaken. The only problem was that he wanted a more competitive unit wherein he could play. He wanted to eat, take the cake and eat the cake, and he wanted to do everything. So he wanted to play Mishka, and whenever he's available and Mishka doesn't have a game, he wanted to come to T-ball and play a T-ball, but he wanted a competitive T-ball game wherein he doesn't have to do all the lifting. Whereas in Brownstown, he felt he has to do all the lifting, and if he doesn't show up and play, and if he was to do that kind of lifting, then he needs to play 11 or 12 games out of a 12-game season.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the problem was.
Yeah, but I still think I do not completely agree with that argument. I think there was more than that because I'd seen some on-field activities as well where I thought means we played Brownson last season, and there was definitely
Okay.
something which wasn't working on the field itself. So yes, I think off-field, I'm pretty sure Mansab and everybody gets along really well, but I think he was not really happy with how certain decisions and certain things were on the field as well. So that's just my observation. But again, as I said, pretty much everybody off the field gets along well. So that's the beauty of DCL.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can ask him the next time he comes on the show.
Yep.
But moving on to the next game, Agni versus Badsha. This was a forfeited game.
So
we can move on.
Yeah, we can move on. Just to add, this is something which, as a committee, we are trying to avoid, and this is something which we are going to take it very seriously with the Detroit Badshahs forfeiting the game.
Okay, so what are you going to do about it? I'm just out of curiosity. What are the options?
The options are obviously they're going to be penalized, and how they're going to be penalized, that is up for debate as to how we want to do it, whether it's monetary or is it next year when they come in, they will probably not have them register. They'll have to come in as a new team. These are some of the options. Obviously, the decision hasn't been made, but definitely it's something which the committee does not want to encourage. And it's happened a long time ago. There were a couple of teams which forfeited when they realized that they were no longer in the playoffs. In this case, I think the reason given is COVID, but we are not very sure of whether that's the real reason or is it because of their chances in playoff.
You mean for the forfeit? For this week's forfeit was because of COVID?
Yes, that was the reason given.
So that means they were affected by COVID 2 times already, because they had a COVID problem on Eid also, right?
Correct.
Okay, so now we had an India-Pakistan game, and again they had COVID.
Yes.
I'm just trying to understand this. Correct me if I'm wrong. So India-Pakistan game, there is a COVID outbreak. When there was Eid also, there was a COVID outbreak. You follow my logic? I mean, I must be born yesterday. I really must be born yesterday or maybe just a few hours ago for me to buy that.
Yeah, I don't think the committee buys that, and that's one of the reasons why we've made that rule that no matter what, you have a squad of 20, 30, you should be able to field 11. So I think we are not basically at the start of the season, we were caught off guard. We had to, give my Rangers the benefit. But after that, we made it pretty strict that, we basically not going to, we can reschedule it, but not forfeit it or abandon it.
Okay, and
right.
Talking about today's games, right?
Partner, no, I didn't follow you. Hold on, Vamsi. You're saying you'll reschedule it, but not forfeit it. So no, I don't think you can reschedule it. What is the skipper supposed to do if he doesn't have players? They want to go and watch India, Pakistan, then play a dead rubber game against who is this? Whoever they are playing, and say, man, I want to play India, Pakistan, watch India, Pakistan, rather than go and play a game where I know I'm not going to make the playoffs.
Right. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Yeah, we're not going to reschedule the game. So the only option is
that's why I had to correct you right there. No, there's no question of reschedule, because if that is the case, Alishan will come and say, hey, just reschedule it. We had COVID problems. Right. This is what we told you to do in the Eid case too. Reschedule the game.
Yeah, so we're not going to do that. We basically, that the penalization is the next step of how to adjudicate that.
But Pablo, I have a question about this ongoing game, Hitman versus Rising Stars. So the game was scheduled in ground 1. Rising Stars went to ground 2. Different grounds, right? Different cities.
Yep.
And then how come this game is rescheduled?
So this was something where, there was a blunder. This situation, again, another situation which committee has never come across, where the umpires decided to forfeit the game. Because even after the communication that was sent back by Rising Stars that they are on their way, yes, they made a terrible mistake. Instead of reading WCP, which is West Bloomfield Community Park, they assumed it's Woodhaven Community Park. So they ended up going there. But there was back and forth communication with the umpires and the captains that they are on their way. But somehow the umpires either, were in a hurry, or, they adjudicated that since none of these players are here till 9:30. But if you look at the rule book, even if it's 9:30 and you have two players, the game should carry on with, the overs deducted for
Not
each
really,
player that
Patrick.
comes in.
Not really.
Sorry?
After a certain point, you can call off the game. As an umpire, you have that right.
Yeah, not call off. I think it's only when none of the players shown up. I think in this case, I think there were 2 or 3 players which were on the field, and there were players which are come on their way. So the right thing to do was, basically have the game at least start with whatever, or penalize the team that is coming late with overs being deducted. But the game should have happened. There was no reason for them to abandon the game.
Okay.
Because if there was a no-show, then yes, it would have made sense. But in this case, there wasn't no-show. There was enough communication. There was enough back and forth saying that the team is on their way. So I think logically, I mean, if I were the captain, or I were the umpire, I would have basically said, okay, let's wait 15 more minutes. That's what generally happens in our DCL games.
Mm-hmm. Now, Rising Stars can very well come back and say, we were at the ground.
Well, now
they're 5 points.
The Hitman is going to be hit out of the playoffs, right?
Yep.
All right.
And the other game, just a quick update: MCC Miles is lagging behind Guardians. They are at 40 for 4. They've lost the well-set Brahmanaidu as well.
Yeah, but the big man has just arrived. The man who can change the game, and then there is another big man who can change the game completely. So those two guys are still there, but advantage Legends at this point of time, especially considering it's a day-night game.
Mm-hmm. But still, 82 runs in 78 balls, a tall ask. And if you are MCC Miles skipper, there's a lot of pressure on you at this point.
Yeah.
All right. I think those were all the games we had.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right. And Parthiv, if you don't mind, I want to bring up something else for sharing. But maybe, Satya, do you want to get into predictions first before we get into these?
Yes. Can you stop sharing, please?
Sure. All yours.
Yeah, by the way, I wanted to read something for you. I just got this text from, it was sent to Satya. This is Talha Satyabai from Sterling Strikers. We had 2 must-win leather ball games to qualify for playoffs. So had to field 3 teams that day. Hats off to DCL guys, and thanks to Naresh Hawks for picking us as favorites last week. So people like it that they get picked as the winner of the game too. And Naresh liked it last week that Satya picked them. And clearly Tala and Sterling Strikers like it that Naresh picked Sterling Strikers to win last week's game. So actually Naresh had a phenomenal outing last week. He performed with the bat, he performed with the ball, he was picking winners left and right, and whoever he was picking was winning.
The only thing that he didn't do last week was buy a lottery ticket.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, so Naresh knows the rules. Naresh, contact Satya and claim your $25 gift certificate. I think all 3 of us unanimously voted for Naresh, right? Or am I mistaken there? I know I voted for Naresh.
Yeah.
So congrats to, or all 4 of us voted for Naresh. So congrats to Naresh. But yeah, thanks to C4 Technologies and Chetan Thakkar for sponsoring this award. And thanks, Naresh, for putting me in last place. Now the bear has eaten me halfway and he's pretty much thinking when to poop me out, I think.
Man, I think only the playoffs can save us.
Vijay, do we have any update on where the predictions would end? Are we going to have 2 different predictions?
No. The update is it's till the end of the playoffs. And in
Come
the
on.
playoffs, every win is 2 points.
I'm still trying with you.
Okay.
Because
You can keep trying.
the whole season getting into the playoffs should be one and the other one should be another. If
But
not
then
this year, the next year.
we need to find another sponsor to do that.
I mean,
Who's willing to do this?
Yeah, irrespective of the cash prize, right? I think that's a good way as well.
So the cash prize is offered for the overall championship, for winning it all the way till the end of the playoffs.
Yep.
All right, Michigan Rangers versus Motor City, right?
Yeah.
Let's run through.
Dave?
Yeah, it's Rangers for me.
Yeah, I think it's Rangers for me.
Rangers for me.
Rangers, yep.
So we'll just go too quick. We are running out of shot. And like Canton 11 Sterling Strikers.
Definitely Sterling Strikers.
Sterling Strikers for me.
Everybody on Sterling Strikers after Canton 11's performance. But
let's hope it's not a complete Brownstone unit there.
Yeah, I don't think so. They'll be back. Yeah, Thunders, Hawks.
Thunders for me.
Yeah,
Thunders
everyone are Thunders, but it depends on what team they bring. So
yeah, I mean, I'm with Thunders, but I'm not completely confident, Parthiv, that Thunders will win this one. I'm not sure. I somehow feel that if Thunders field average unit, Hawks can take them down.
Yeah,
I mean, I unless they're not available, I wouldn't say they would field a second unit because I
Raptors,
think
Knights.
Yeah, Parthiv, again, it depends on whether your player qualifications and all that stuff, right? Lot of equations come into the play.
So Raptors versus Knights.
Yeah, Raptors for me.
Yeah, everybody goes on Raptors. So
yep.
And Rising Stars versus Guardians.
Definitely after today's performance, Rising Stars and last week's performance.
Yeah, I'm going with Rising Stars. KK.
Well,
I thought you picked Guardians. Didn't you pick Guardians?
I changed with you.
I'm thinking should I change too? I think I'll go with Rising Stars too, probably. Yep.
Yeah. I picked Rising Stars. I saw that Satya picked Guardians, and I was like, okay, I'll do one catch up here.
You can catch me up later. Local boys KRCC, I think all the way KRCC.
KRCC, yeah.
Yep.
Yes, KRCC and Patriots SSK.
Patriots.
So it's all Patriots.
See, when I picked the Patriots against Detroit Bulls, or when I ranked them higher than Detroit Bulls, two gentlemen, were against that analysis. But now everyone jumped on the Patriots bandwagon.
Yeah, but see, KK, we did not know Geno James was going to go to India. And we certainly did not know that Mahesh Babu Burululu was going to run off.
That's the analyst, right? You have to get those things.
No,
yeah,
but I did not know that with you. But I went to a game, Patriots were playing SLCC Guardians. I saw the intensity with which they were playing, and it's not the same kind of team that you saw at the beginning of the season. And once you have that kind of game mindset, I thought they were going to make it. That gave me an edge over Detroit Bulls.
Phantom Triox, I think Triox all the way. So it's all easy games this week. Glads, Dynamites, guys.
Yep, Glads on the
way. Are you guys?
Well, all I know is, in interest of fair disclosure, Glads will not field the best unit. I can guarantee you that.
Okay,
this is exactly what.
This
is exactly what. I'm not saying. I'm saying that I don't know. First of all, Mishka playoffs is starting that week. All right. So we don't know how many.
See.
So we don't know how many people are available, and that is one thing. Second thing is that we have an issue with player qualification. So we are going to not field our best unit. We will field whatever is available, but after getting these people qualified. So simple as that.
I'll give you. Majender is playing because he has to qualify. So
Oh, he's enough. I think you guys have enough weapons, and I don't think Vijay is going to avail the services of his two
So
Noman and Mohsin this year.
you're saying that because Vijay Shanmugam is out of the playoffs, he is not going to avail the services of these two gentlemen.
Yep.
That's what you're saying.
That's,
So in other words,
my
you're
reasoning.
saying that Vijay Shanmugam is financial genius.
Whether financial
I mean,
or pulling the strings,
indirectly, that's pretty much what you're saying, that he's a financial genius.
yeah.
All right.
I mean, he's a genius. But I don't think he's going to go again that route. Because I don't
Safaris
think,
Legends.
no.
All right.
Legends.
So-
Look at Miles right now. They are on their knees. So Legends definitely.
Satya went with Safaris.
No, I changed again.
Oh, see, this kind of change should not be allowed, because last time when I wanted to change,
No.
Why did you not allow me to change that? You tell me that.
Oh, I
You
did
can't
not.
have to-
I did not do
Viju,
anything.
but
Yeah.
you got the point there, Viju. Detroit Bashas won against Spartans, I think.
That is, I took a big risk. I to get rewarded for the risk. I mean,
No,
I took
Viju,
a phenomenal risk.
Last week it was Hawks also. I did the same. I was holding for Hawks, but that's fine. But this game I'm changing.
All right. Anyway, Legends on this one.
Maybe next year we can implement that Wednesday night.
Okay,
slot.
I think I'm missing a game. Sorry, guys.
Star Strikers.
Uh,
No, I picked
Yeah.
I picked Stars in this game. I don't think there was a game missing.
Not this
I picked
one.
Stars.
I think
You
Miles
said yes.
versus Poker is missing. So
Yes. The
Oh,
Miles
Miles
versus
versus-
game is missing.
Miles versus Poker
Okay,
is missing. So
Okay, so
Miles
who is
versus
picking
Pokris
Miles
is
and
actually
KK,
I am going with Pokris.
me and Parthiv going with Pokris, and KK and Viju, you're going with Miles.
all right.
Okay.
Do you
And-
guys want to change based on today's performance?
No, this is a day-night game, Parthiv. These results will not have any bearing on how the day games go.
Okay.
Okay, Stars, Strikers. Come on now.
Oh, well, my vote is always going to be Strikers.
Parthiv,
No, Parthiv, I remember you voted against strikers earlier in the season.
Yes, that was against GLCC because I was not there. Because I know GLCC, I need to be there for them to get beaten.
okay. So yeah, so Parthiv goes, remaining everybody goes to Stars. So Hari, please take care.
Yeah, sure.
Hari, you guys have
I'll do-
qualified, right? So take it easy now.
Both are qualified, so we can take
Yeah.
the game easy then.
Yeah, let's play at Kensington Park. Let's have a picnic.
Yeah.
The Kapil is also joined. Welcome, Kapil. Welcome.
Hey,
Hari.
Kapil, how
Hey
are you,
guys.
buddy?
Hey everyone, I'm good. Hari, hey Vijay, Satya, KK,
Hi.
Parthiv. Thanks for having me.
Long time no see, Kapil. How are things with you?
Things are looking up, Viju. Always
Okay.
good.
Yeah, better
I mean, I see
Just-
I see that you're picking wickets like usual, and so
One of
you're
those
having
days.
a phenomenal. You're having a phenomenal season with the ball, and always a pain to get out with the bat. So,
Well, that-
like we found out last year, right, in the playoffs, Parthiv, Mr.
Yes.
Kapil stood there for a long time.
Yeah.
That was the only option Viju last year.
So that's good. So carry on, Parthu. You have some
Yeah, so-
questions for both these gentlemen, right?
Yes. Yes. So again, welcome guys. The Star Strikers game is going to be the showcase game of the week. So we generally want to throw some questions and give you the opportunity to also talk about your team this year. Highlight the players which have been performing well. Call out anyone who you see for the future. So my first question is going to be, Hari, for you.
Yes.
I think we've seen kind of a pattern for Stars
Mhm.
where I think at least 2 or 3 games, if I'm not mistaken, you guys have basically been at a point where you could basically disintegrate. Your batting looks like you're 5, 6, 7, 6 down or something for less than 20 runs, and then suddenly you have that recovery. why do you think that is happening? And have you guys talked about this?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I know this is kind of a scary situation we have been through in different games. Like last game also, we were like 6 down. And also even before Hitman, like we were 47 for 2, chasing 84 runs or 85 something. I was out of the country at the time, but I was just following the score. I thought we were going to win, and then closed my my phone, and then I was talking to my friends, and then opened. Suddenly it was like 8 down. It was kind of heart attack for me. So then I started watching, and then that day we have won the game. So it happened quite a bit when we lost to Detroit Bulls. Like we lost a couple of early wickets, and we couldn't recover on that chase. So yeah, so we are aware of the situation, and then we are looking into that, and we have some game plan. So hopefully, from at least going forward from next week or from next game, we would start looking into that more seriously, because the playoffs are around the corner. So this is a very serious situation. We cannot just play like this in the playoffs. I know we have very good games, good teams coming up, qualifying for the playoffs. So we are well aware of the situation, and hopefully we'll fix those coming forward.
Cool. All right. And then Kapil, a question to you. Strikers have been doing fairly consistently well. I won't say they have been highlighting any big performances. They've been winning games, but I haven't seen yet strikers put up a big score or win by a big margin. They've been able to win games, but it's been kind of getting the job done kind of a situation. So how are you guys talking about how to kind of, especially the batting hasn't been like you've seen collapses happen in the middle and late order. What are you guys doing about that?
Yeah.
I know that question should be for me, but
yeah,
I want to ask you.
yeah, I know. Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the batting, right, apart from that disaster that was KRCC, we've gotten starts in almost every game, and we have carried through almost to the 20th over, and something has happened right after that, right? And somehow we have dropped the ball. It's just that trying to get more runs quickly, that somehow the mindset changes, and then as they say, buy one get one free, or two free, or three free, one goes and it just falls like a house of cards, right? And to really, I think it's just going back to basics. It is just waiting for the right moment to start accelerating. But even if at the end it is just not everyone going to accelerate, it's just someone, there has to be a couple of us staying on the wicket, making sure the other guy accelerates, he's trying to hit it out or hit it hard. You give support from the other end. It shouldn't happen the way it's happening with us. Is wickets are falling on both ends, right? It's just not one person just not out, right? There was no help, right? Everyone has gotten started, but I think that is just going back to basics. Just know your role kind of a deal, right? I mean, it also applies to me. I've been guilty of that same thing in the last game, but yeah, it just understanding the role better. Now I think we have to playoffs coming right around the corner, but that's again, it's very simple answer, but that and just going back to basics, knowing the role. Not everyone everyone can hit out of the park, everyone can try to hit out of the park, but everyone has to wait for their turn and just just logically think logically. That's it.
Okay. So the advice is think logically. Don't try to think too much. All right. Another question for both of you guys. I'm going to take turns, but can you name one player who's been a surprise this year for your team? So Kapil, if you want to go first. And surprise, can be a brand new player or could be someone who's suddenly started.
Sure. And I mean, if we only have to pick one, right? We have our usual suspects, right? Doing really well. Parag, Kishore, but Ishan also joined. Ishan has been playing DCL for few years. He's joined in. He's been doing really well in our team along with Deepak. But I think if I had to pick one person who's we all know how hard it is to really bat with T-ball in the first season. I think just for that fact, I'm gonna go with Dinesh, who this is his first season, and he has been all the games he has played, he has gotten start, and he's got amazing temperament. So I'm just have to, along with our usual folks who are really doing well. I think if I have to pick one, I'll go with Dinesh as the surprise, the biggest surprise for me.
Okay. How about you, Hari? Who is your?
Yeah, from my team,
surprise?
as I said during the Hitman game, right? We were like 8 down, and Deepak was there at one end. We need someone to support him to cross the boundary, to cross the line. So it was Arshad. Arshad was the one who was standing other side, very patient, very showing the temperament and patience, and he was with Deepak, and we won the game. The same Arshad guy, like he was busy with F40, but fortunately for us, that his team was not qualified out of the playoffs, so he was available last game. And we were in a situation where we were like 20-25 runs for 6 wickets down, and we had Sham playing the other end, and we need someone because Sham is a very good player. He can hit out the park very easily. But we need someone who can support him, right? Arshad again stepped into the role, and really amazed, like in the critical situation, the real talent comes when it's in the pressure situations, right? He was so matured, and he was so patient, just picking his shots, taking singles and doubles. And I really like the way he showed up. He stepped up his game, and also he's a good bowler as well, and excellent fielder. So he's kind of an all-round package for us. And he has played in DCL, I think, in Michigan Cup few games before, but he was not into DCL playing many games. But I have seen him, and I think he's our surprise package going forward.
Great. I think both of you guys highlighted one thing, I think, which was common, which was the maturity and the handling pressure and the the temperament, which I think both of you guys appreciate in these new players. So that's something which is definitely come out. And then the last question before I hand it over to Viju and KK is, if you guys had to switch one player, if Hari, you had a chance to pick one player from strikers, and Kapil, you had a chance to pick one player from stars, who would that be?
Pretty easy for me. I'll go first.
Easy for me too.
No,
I'll go.
Hari, what's happening here is that all my questions, this Parthiv Mehta is stealing. Okay, this is the questions I used to ask others, okay, and put them on the spot, and now I see, man, my questions are gone. Two of the questions which I had prepared is already gone.
I'm evolving.
But that's fine. So I have one last question to ask. Go ahead.
Blindly, without thinking, I'll just say Binod Singh, because I know he was the one who won us the championship in 2013, and he does magic with the ball. And the last year when I played Michigan Cup, he got 7 wickets in one game, and I had no doubt about it. And any time in the night, wake me up and then say, "Hey, strikers, do you need someone from strikers?" I would say Binod.
It's been a very difficult years of trial that we've got him out.
He told me that. Yeah.
All right, Kapil, how about you?
For me, it's so simple, right? Raviteja Reddy. Top 3 players in DCL, and wherever he plays. I mean, I don't follow a lot of Mishka, but yeah, I mean, just DCL, right? Just how pure of a player he is all around.
Yep.
It's too simple of a choice for me.
Yep. He's a very down-to-earth guy and very excellent person to have friendship with.
That's again, that justifies, right? I don't really know him, but I mean, he's just quiet, goes about his business and just whacks everyone out of the park.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, good choices from both of you guys. So I'll let Viju and or KK jump in.
I'll let KK go.
Okay.
Can't hear you, KK.
Okay. Let's go for it. But before we go there, a quick update. And this is what's happening with the other game.
45 for 9.
Yep.
Wow.
That's done and dusted. So
now your your prediction sheet, you haven't shared that yet, right? I mean,
yep, I already
is there a
updated
way
it. I have
you
two
updated it?
versions. Yeah, I had two versions
Yeah.
based on how this today's game go. But
Okay.
So
I
the
will
Legends
share it
has.
on.
So now the Legends looks like they will be the 16th team. Maybe they have pretty good chance.
If they win
Yes.
against
Safaris.
Safaris, I mean, we can be done with the questions and then come here, or
Yeah,
Okay, all
okay.
right. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just go run through the questions. I'll just cut down. You go ahead and ask your questions, KK. I'll probably limit my question to one.
Sure. I will go to Kapil first, because
Okay.
this is a question I wanted to ask you, Kapil.
Yeah.
I think in 2018 or 2017, you were leading Raptors, not Raptors, Strikers. You were leading Strikers while your captain has taken a sabbatical from your team and joined Raptors, right?
Yep.
And whereas you've been playing for Strikers pretty much every season since then, has it ever occurred to you, when am I going to take over the reins?
When take it back?
Take over the reins, as in?
No, he was already the skipper that year when they made the playoffs, and Mr. Raptors almost missed out, right? I mean, you could have gone one round ahead if you hadn't lost to Imtiaz and Blazers in the overtime game.
Yeah, we had a tie. But yeah, I mean, taking over the reins, I had never even thought about taking over the reins at all. Right? It just happened.
What a politically correct answer.
No, I mean that's what I'm saying. Visual, that's what you're gonna think, but it never occurred to me until this guy decided to form Raptors, and we almost had no one, right? We did not have any players, but we decided, me, Kishore, Parag, was just only 3 players were there. Rahul Nikam joined later, and then we had to recruit a lot of players, right? And then a lot of friends of Kishore, we found them, but we just didn't want to let the team go because we've been playing for so long, and I just had to take it over, and I was happy to let it go after Parthiv came back and other players came back from Raptors, right? Because I know how much of the workload it is to be a captain, right? And hats off to Parthiv, he's been doing it for so long. So it really never occurred to me that I wanted to be a captain or anything. It just it happened as out of necessity, nothing else.
Okay, and
Vamsi, we go way behind to try to spark something between us. So
well, that's okay. I mean, at least I asked you a question in front of your skipper. So the next question is a follow-up to the previous one, right? When were you at your best in your cricketing, career with DCL, right? Is it when you were the skipper of the team, or is it when you were the individual performer?
No, when I was that season, I think 2018 is.
Yeah,
I think
when you were the skipper.
I was the skipper that time. Yeah.
So
that was my best season when it comes to batting, right? And I had not a lot of wickets, but I think I had few wickets too, and batting well that season. I think that was the peak.
Mm-hmm. And over the years, I think the number of games that you're playing has also reduced. Is there a specific reason behind it?
Yes, Vamsi, my fitness. I've always had knee issues, and my heel is catching up with me. So right now, these guys are just, I'm fortunate to have such awesome teammates. They're just letting me play with them because I don't field a lot, right? I just
you can get rest next
6, 7, 8 overs I field, and it's just because of my because of the injuries, and that's why the number of games are going down. And once I play a game, next 2 days it's hell for me can't even walk, kind of a deal, right? So, but the passion for cricket, passion for DCL, passion for my team, my friends, it just brings me back. I've also found golf, but I still can't let go of cricket because of Strikers.
Yeah, thanks, Kapil. I can relate to it because to take a bottle which is about 6 to 10 feet away, I nag a lot, but when it comes to the cricket ground, if there is a ball, you go running back up to another fielder. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for your answers, Kapil. I'll now move on to Hari. Because speaking of fitness, right? I think probably he's one of those guys. I admire when it comes to fitness. He dives on the field, and he doesn't care about his age number. He dives.
Yeah, by the way,
he's very quick between the wickets.
I had my 50th birthday last 2 weeks back.
Okay, congratulations.
Congratulations,
on your 50th.
Hari, and
Happy birthday,
I'm
Hari.
happy to see that you're playing still at 50. There are a lot of people who would hang up the boots, but some guys should not hang up the boots. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
What are you saying? Wow, you're just a few years away from 50, my friend.
I want to make sure that I keep playing until that age. But some of the people just amaze me. It's 50, but still play at that level. Play at that intensity is just amazing, because your motivation starts to dwindle as you no longer competitive or cannot compete with the young guys.
Yeah.
So.
And Hari, I think I've told you this in person last year as well when we met. I was asking how to maintain the fitness, but I think he did give a few tips, but it's very hard to actually maintain that.
Just running. Go for running. That's it. That's my secret.
Now comes the tough question, right? So the team Falcons has split into Blasters, and then the rest of the Falcons guys joined FCC last year. This year they've joined Patriots. Did they ever approach you to join Stars?
No.
Would you see them approaching you in the future?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you for answering that. Yes. The next question is about one of the players in your team. I've seen him play different positions. Mahesh Muthyala has played at number 11, and in the previous week, not the previous week, the week before that, he has opened the innings for you.
Yes.
So how do you see him in your team? Is he your opener, your middle order? Is he a finisher?
So we have been going back and forth with the order, as like Parthiv said in one of the previous sessions, right? So those weeks are all just trial and error methods. But we have decided now Mahesh would be in a top order. So most likely he'll be opening with Jishan, and also he's doing very good with the ball as well. So he's a great asset to our team with the ball and also the bat.
He took a 5 for IC a week back.
Yes, right, yeah.
So Sham Kachati, who usually opens or plays one down, he's going to be your lower middle, in other words.
Yes, kind of middle. Depends upon situation. Like looks like for now at least, the middle and the spot where he went the last game. But maybe it could be ahead of that. Depends upon the situation. So we have only like 2 or 3 spots fixed, and remaining all kind of depends upon the situation as we get into the playoffs.
And has it ever...
And the thing is, we talked about each one's role. So they know, like we have like first 4-5 spots, we know who is going there, but it could change. Depends upon again in the batting first or chasing and the score at the board and all those things.
Got it. Thank you. And the next question is, Deepak actually has a century in DCL. A very elite set of folks have a century in DCL. And we haven't seen much of Deepak's batting recently. He's been playing very low down the order. Is there a reason why he plays there?
Not really low down the order. He was playing like 5th down, I guess, 4th to 5th down. Because we need a strong middle order. So he can be the one who can anchor the innings and then play with Raviteja, Shanmugam, and Sham. So that he can stay at one end, or he can hit the ball, and also he can stay at one end and rotate the strike as well. So this is that 4th and 5th spots are very important to going to the number of overs, like in the batting first or chasing. So that's the reason why he kind of in the middle order, I can say.
Well,
but not very low down or not in up the order, but he would be in that 4th, 5th, 6th, that place.
Okay, and the last question, what is your expectation of this year's DCL? Where do you see yourself getting to?
I don't know. It's honestly, because each game we are kind of going up and going down. So I don't know what's going to happen. But hopefully, once the playoff starts, we will exactly know what's going on with my team.
So
because I cannot really say.
In playoffs, right? There are 4 rounds in playoffs: pre-quarters, quarters, semis, and finals. Where do you see yourself, at least vaguely?
I think we should reach at least my expectation to reach semifinals. But
Okay.
depends upon where we fall, where we are into this, the quarterfinal, the playoffs, and also the next games going forward.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Over to you, Viju.
Yeah, so KK, do you know the word genius?
Yes.
You know the meaning of the word genius, right? You know the meaning of the word. You want to know who is a genius? There's a guy, the guy I see to my right on my screen. You're on the middle, the Mr. Hari Parankusham, and you'll wonder why I'm saying he's a genius. Man, I saw last week Raghu 32. Man, you put Raghu 32 into your quiz. You were asking the question, and I thought you were going to go there because everybody from Falcons, and I thought Raghu 30 was our friend Venkat Vatnala's good friend. But I see a lot of Venkat Vatnala's good friends like Sidhu. And now, when I saw Raghu 32, his name on the scorecard, I'm like, man, this guy is a great genius because I don't know how he pulls it off because he has managed to pull Raghu 32 into his team. But I mean that in a good way, in the sense that, yes, you should have that skill. That's what keeps your team competitive. So I have respect for that ability because that requires certain management ability. Without that, you would not be able to do that. So some people wonder, hey, how come Hari Parankusham has good teams year after year after year? Well, look no further than the effort which they put in. I mean, no one player is overlooked. They put in that effort. So, and also, Hari, there were some pointed questions which KK asked, and you gave a point blank answer, and I actually respect you for that, for giving the point blank answer. But while you are there, I had this question about the batting order because I looked at what Mahesh Muthiala was doing, and I had the same concern that I felt Mahesh Muthiala was being wasted lower down, whereas when he came up, he was really performing. That was something which I was going to point out, but you already addressed that. Let me ask you another question. Deepak's pace had gone down, but this year I saw and I felt his pace has gone up. What is your observation from close hand? Am I seeing things, or is that genuinely true?
No, the pace has not gone down, I would say, because I play in the practice.
No, I didn't say it has gone. What I was saying is it has gone up this year, is what I felt. Okay, so what I was asking is that I had seen the old Deepak, and I don't know, maybe 2 years ago when I saw him, I felt his pace had gone down. This year, when I saw him in one of the games which you guys were playing, I felt that the pace had gone up. But since I am seeing from 10,000 miles away, my eyes might be playing tricks. So that's why I was asking you. You're observing close. Has his pace gone up? Was my question, not down. Up is what I felt.
Yes,
this year.
Yes. Definitely, you're right. The pace gone up this year, especially in the second session of the league. Not with the first few games, but after a few games because he was getting used to a injury to the right thumb somewhere, the leather ball. So, and slowly initially he was not doing the good in the initial first couple of games, but the second session of the season, he started coming back, and then he's really performing a lot better than he used to be in the last year, like with the ball and the bat as well. I know he did not have big scores. He did not have big scores yet. He is due for them with the ball and also the bat, but he's coming back to his form, as we get closer to the playoffs.
But last game he had outstanding stats with the ball. So that's another thing which is telling me that all things are pointing in the right direction, at least as far as his bowling is concerned. Yes, his batting, I think, is a concern, as Vamsi rightly identified. But his bowling has been, I think, hitting the spots. And I that in playoffs, bowling is critical.
Yes. But with this ball, Viju, even though you have good bowling attack, with this ball, like couple of sixes, it changes completely changes the game. Like what happened to us with GLCC last year. We scored 111 and they're chasing 112. And Mr. Navpreet Singh came and had 3 sixes, done. The game is done. So even you have a good bowling in this ball, especially, I don't say the game is over until the last wicket is down or the last ball is bowled. because you have big hitters in this league, and you can see Mr. KK who can smash the ball out of the park like kind of back to back, So until the game is over, game is not over, I would say, with this ball. Even though you have a good bowling attack or whatever, still it's very critical to say that. That's what my feeling is.
So let me ask you my final question to you. Do you have any concerns with regard, not just leave the batting aside? Okay, the batting, I think you still are trying to figure that out. You already identified that this thing. But what keeps you up at night thinking, hey, I have something which I need to plug a hole? What would that be?
I think I was only worried about the batting. Even still, I worry about my batting. But I think bowling side, I don't have any concerns. We have Anvesh, we have Raviteja, we have Deepak Giryappa, and Mahesh is coming a lot better than expected. He's bowling exceptionally well, good spells. I don't have any concern, but only my nighttime, like the answer to your question would be our batting. So I always talk to my people that, whenever you are in the middle, just think about the situation and then play accordingly, but no need to go for any runs or any sixes or fours or any, you don't need to just, if it's a maiden over, that's okay. You can still with this ball, if you play 6 dot balls, in the 6th ball, you can hit for a 6 and then make runs and balls equal. So you don't need to worry about the maiden or over, or you can dot ball, just stay there and you can do better. In fact, it's, I think for every team, they have to look at that way, I guess.
Okay. Well, Kapil, I wanted to come to you with questions. Same question which I asked him about concerns. What concerns you with regards to strikers?
So it was, again, we talked about this when Parthiv had those questions, right? It is just the finishing the games up, right? While batting.
Okay.
And getting a good start, and also in the middle, having a good middle of the game, but finishing last, let's say, 8-9 overs, right? Finishing on the high, right? That has been a problem, right? So I think that's keeps us up at night. And I think that's what I hope we find an answer to that, because that's really hurting us getting a good score. I mean, we have gotten good scores, we've gotten 100 runs, but if we learn how to finish games, we get even 25-30 more runs. That makes a huge difference if you put up that score in the first inning and try to defend it.
Is there anything which you would give Parthiv Mehta as an advice if you were an advisor to strikers?
Advice as in no. I mean, I think it has been more about our individual, most of us, right? Who are going after 5, whoever goes after 5 down, right? 5 down.
Yeah, but
down.
that's your specialty. That's where you come in. I mean, you have been a master and a champion at that.
And that's exactly right. Not being patient enough, right? So it's the advice is not to Parthiv, right? If he has the right message, but it's just that the execution. It's the advice to our own players to be patient, play out 25 overs, right? The patience hasn't been there in last 8-9 overs.
Okay. May I ask you a different question? What is it like playing under Parthiv Mehta?
Great. I mean, I've been playing for how many years now? How many, Parthiv? 10, 12? I don't know, more than that.
12.
I've played first year under Mr. Chetan.
Chetan.
Yes. Got another cricket group. After that, yes. I've been, So apart from that, I mean, it's amazing, right? Parthiv is, as you all know, right? He has calmed down a lot. I mean, but cricketing brain and the way he thinks, it hasn't, even if his sledging has gone down, everything else is, and some fitness has gone down, but his passion has stayed up. So it's great to be playing under such a captain, right? And it's just not that we have disagreements too. But it's a lot of time he listens to players, and but again, you have to, when you are a captain, you're gonna get 10-15 advices from all over the place, right? It's just picking the right one, or picking one. It may not turn out to be a right one later. It just, I mean, he's really good at that. So it's been great playing under Parthiv.
Okay.
And he's very good. And he's very good at sledging as well, I know.
I'm hoping.
But that's what our friend Kapil is saying, that the sledging has gone down. But here's
Okay.
the thing.
We'll
Here is
see.
the
We'll
thing.
see.
Here is the thing, Hari. Let me tell you something. In between KK, Parthiv, me, and Satya, we have this prime time, and Abhinash is also part of that group. We have this thing. I don't know about the sledging of Parthiv Mehta. I'm doing most of the sledging. I'll tell you that.
I think my sledging is dependent on the opposition and the kind of a person that comes along. So the newer teams, I don't waste too much of my voice and volume. It's the bigger teams. So yes, against stars, I know you guys a lot.
Sometimes, and a couple of times, it's like he has been sledging in Hindi for a long time, and guess who the player was? Ajit Jaisinghe. Ajit. I'm like, at the end of the match, man, that guy does not understand. Ajit does not understand Hindi. And he just laughing, he's just smiling at him.
I remember.
It's been fun.
I remember one incident when we played with strikers. Like it was, I don't know when was it, but few years back, long time back. So I came to bat. I had an MRF bat, right? So I came into bat, and then he was keeping. He's saying that, okay, Sachin is coming into bat now. Okay, come on, Sachin. Come on. I said, come on. I'm not a big player. Let me play just few balls and get out. I'll get out soon. He said, no, Sachin.
That is all fun.
But well, I played with Parthiv last year. FCC was a strikers game. There was not even a single word said.
That's the problem, right?
So he must be thinking the tiger is sleeping. Why should I wake the tiger up?
I had a below average game. I struck at 30 run strike rate. So
Next time go with MRF bat.
Kapil, I wanted
to fix for you, Satya.
Kapil, I had to ask you a question. What goes through your mind? We saw this with Hardik Pandya. Amazing run chase against Pakistan the other day. I wanted to ask you this. You have been doing a lot of successful run chases over the years. I've seen this. 2018 was a phenomenal year. But there are numerous times, if you had asked me, hey, strikers are chasing, and who do you think affected the run chase? My first answer would be Kapil. Probably Kapil did the chase. And that's out of respect for what you have accomplished over the years. I'm just asking, what goes through your mind when that critical moment arrives? What are you thinking, and how does your mindset? Because it probably might help some of the younger cricketers, especially on some of the newer teams, whether it is Hawks or local boys or something like that, to hear a senior cricketer tell how to approach that pressure cooker situation, as to how should you approach it. What goes through your mind? What are you thinking? What is your brain calculating? How are you approaching that?
First of all, thanks for the kind words. Right.
I only stated the truth. I didn't say anything beyond the truth.
So yeah, and so it's pretty much when I go. I know I have a lot of limitations in batting. Right. I don't have a lot of God-given talent when it comes to batting. I just that for me, the biggest thing is take the game deep, take the game to the last ball. It's just who breaks first, right? Do you break first or the ballers break first? Or the opposition breaks first, right? So it is just taking the game, deep in the overs, last few overs, right? Because what happens is, I've seen it over the years. Initially, when I go in middle order, so a lot of wickets fall, and just like last year's Glads game, right? We had a collapse, but then we had Vinayak playing really well. See, then the first thing that comes to me is just don't get out. It just play it down. It's don't be a hero right away, right? And because I know my limitations, it's just staying within those limitations and just take the game deep. It's really, to be honest, just take one ball at a time, and just calculate as in see how many runs you're chasing, how many overs are there. It's a simple calculation, right? It just, if you don't need 6 runs over, why try to get 6 runs over, right? If you need 3 runs over, right, just try to, you're gonna get white ball hero there. Maybe you hit out on the offside, get 2 runs. It's easier to do that, and I think that's what I try to do, to be honest.
Okay. Well, thank you.
One more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
The one more thing I would say is, don't get run out. That is one of the things that I would say in a tense run chase. We've lost 2 big games, because of panicking at the last, where we just basically ran ourselves out. So yeah, that is the only thing I would add to.
To both of you, I want to say thank you for coming on the show. This was great to rekindle old memories. I love seeing many of these old guys back on the show, because the passion which the old guys have, many of the new guys don't have it. And sometimes it is very important for the younger generation to see what is the passion which some of the older folks have. And that should inspire them. Hey, that's the kind of passion we want to have if you want to accomplish something great and win a championship or go deep into the playoffs or make your team go into the playoffs and things like that. Because wherever there is no passion, that team is not going to perform. I mean, that intense, like KK said, Patriots intensity went up compared, and he changed his predictions and started picking Patriots because in the beginning of the season, they didn't have the same intensity as they had somewhere in the middle of the season. So wanted to give both of you this thing for promoting your game. Congratulations to both of you. May the best team win. Obviously, I have picked Stars, so I'm hoping Stars pull this off so that I can pull one up on Parthiv and put him into that into a tie with me. But having said that, may the best team win. The quick question, Parthiv, I wanted to ask this to you before, and I'll ask Kapil also the same thing. Your striker buddies, when you went to India, I'm assuming you have some of your old striker buddies in Mumbai and things like that. I don't know. Kapil, are you also from Mumbai?
So yeah, I'm from Maharashtra, but not from Mumbai. But I met Tushar in Pune. Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, so that was my question: is did you meet some of your old guys?
Oh, of course.
And for a dinner or something like that.
Yep, we absolutely. I met Tushar. I met Shiva, who was with us also. So we met.
Shiva was a great fantasy player. He in fact won the championship one year.
Yes.
And who else did you meet?
So it was me, but Bankim was there as well. He's here in Michigan too, but he was at the same time there. But there are a lot of folks who played for Strikers are still in our WhatsApp group, so they passionately follow. And they are always screaming for us to send them the live streaming. So it's great that they are still involved and they still kind of follow who's doing what.
So you guys have the same model as us, because we have the same thing. We have Hari and Sridhar Ambu and a few other guys who played with us who are not in Michigan anymore, but who follow the live stream and things like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all those teams who've been here for like 20 odd years, I'm pretty sure they have the same kind of model where they've been ex-players and players who have gone to India and they're still involved or still at least following whatever they can. So that's great.
So Kapil, who did you meet? You said you met Tushar.
I met Tushar. Yes, I was able to meet only Tushar because since I'm not from Pune or Maharashtra, right? I'm from Mumbai. It's just from my native place, just to get there, it's like 10 hours, road, ride by road, right? It's amazing. I mean, those roads are really bad. And it just, when I was there and this India trip wasn't kind to me, 50% of the time I was sick. So, but I managed to meet Tushar. We had a dinner. We actually chatted. We talked about cricket. We talked about DCL. Yeah, I mean, it was fun.
How is Tushar doing, by the way?
Tushar's doing good. I mean, he's settled now in Pune. I was like, hey, are you coming back? We're missing your bowling, right? And he was like, it was amazing, right? So he's like, he's
I do not know. I do not know if you guys remember this. Tushar at one point broke the DCL record, and I still remember the DCL record was 74 or 75, and Tushar set it to 78. Nobody ever dreamed a century was possible in DCL at that time. Because
I remember that.
It was the old ball, all right?
Old ball,
and and 55 runs is considered a big score. So somebody scoring 78, oh my goodness, that's and it stood for a long time. And now this year you already have two guys who hit centuries. So go figure. But I'm going to hand it over to KK because he has this thing which I think a lot of DCL guys have to find out who is going to make the playoffs. So But looks like Rahul Chenna is still keeping MCC Miles in the picture.
So
But
I have
the
a
equation is
interesting question.
14.31.
I have a question here. So to Parthiv, like till what time the lights are on? Because
I
still
think
2 hours to go.
that's exactly what I was IMing the umpire, that I think at 10:30 is what the scheduled time for the lights
Yeah,
to
it's
shut off
10:30
is.
now.
You're watching it
Yeah,
live, so we should see it in a minute, Badla. It's 10:29.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, they normally it's a timer thing, so it should automatically shut off on its own unless there's some manual intervention.
Okay.
So,
Sometimes that guy comes in, so maybe we can manage 10-15 minutes with him.
Yeah,
I
but-
had the experience. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes it works.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
had two scenarios here, with MCC Miles winning or Legends winning. But at this moment, I would still say the edge is for Legends because 31 from
Yeah,
2.
I think we should go with a Legends win because even though it is Rahul Chenna, the equation is 14.3 or whatever it is.
Yep. So what
And
I've
I'm
done
sure,
If it lights are off, then by day and light, I mean, for daylight method, even I think Legends going to win, right?
they're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
yet off.
Let-
It's 10:30. They're not yet off. So let's keep monitoring that, Hari.
Okay.
But at least
Okay.
what I've done is there are a few games left out. So I've predicted those games. For instance, Thunders have a game against Hawks. Green means that if Thunders is going to win that game. Similarly for Hawks, it will be a loss. That's why I marked it as orange. So these are my predictions, right? And the two games which happened today have been highlighted here in yellow: the Miles and Legends game and the Hitman and Rising Stars game. So with Hitman losing that game against Rising Stars, now Hitman is also mostly out of the picture. So now let's look at the scenario where
And Patriots are in now, right? Without playing the last.
Yeah,
game.
Patriots
They are
for
in.
sure are it.
that's
Yeah.
the one I'm going to show now, right? I've predicted what happens for the rest of the season, and based on that, this is where I see the teams being from Group A.
No, Vamshi, I have a correction here. Just give me a second. Here, if you go back to the screen, the play of this one, yes. So as per your prediction, if strikers win the game, I think they will be ahead of us.
No,
Yeah.
I predicted Stars to win the game.
Oh, okay. I thought you predicted
no,
strikers.
no,
Okay.
no. He's predicted Stars to win the game. Even in the analyst, only
Okay.
Parthiv has predicted Strikers to win. The other three of us have gone with Stars.
You
So,
see,
at some point,
I'll make sure that you guys are not disappointed.
Okay.
Okay.
so strikers.
I think the
Strikers
game is
losing
done.
to Stars, right? That's why That's why I've
Oh, the
highlighted
game
them
is done?
orange.
yeah game
Miles
is
are done?
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Miles
a catch
lost?
out now.
Yeah.
On,
Okay.
on the site at least it's there it is.
Yeah, Rahul
It's done.
Chenna is out.
I think Miles lost the bonus in 4 runs.
Okay.
How come it's
So-
4 runs,
Miles didn't even get the bonus.
No.
Okay.
how come it's
Yeah.
4 runs? They
I
only
think
got
95 or 96 is the
No. You have to get to 105 or 106 to get the.
It's
the
102.
85, right? Yeah.
No, it's 102 because the score is 121.
Break it.
So you need to get to about 103 or 104.
Yeah, they didn't get the bonus point.
No, they did not get the bonus point.
Yeah.
No, someone turned on. I mean, watching the YouTube. That's the reason you're getting the echo.
Who is the culprit? Certainly not me.
Can everyone mark it?
What is that?
I don't know who is. Okay, now. Nope.
Let's bring up that sheet. What are we doing?
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
So with I am still hearing an echo.
I am also hearing an echo.
Me too.
So what's?
It's gone.
But
It's gone now.
okay, now I don't hear it. Who was the culprit?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So go ahead. I think, Hari, your question was answered, or?
No, it's answered. Yeah, it was answered. Yeah.
So this
Okay,
is
good.
what is my prediction, right? From Group A, I expect these 5 teams to make it: Indus Thunders, Sterling Strikers, Raptors, FCC, and Hawks in that order. Hawks being the team with the lowest points, 26. And then for Group B, GLCC, KRCC, Stars, Strikers, and Patriots. Minimum number of points being 31 in the group. And Group C,
Who is Patriots playing last?
SSK.
I think it's SSK.
SSK,
Patriots
yeah.
playing SSK, yes.
Okay, so that should be over.
Yep. So, and based on the qualification ranks, right? Legends would take the 16th spot in the qualification ranks, but when it comes to the playoff rank, it's based on the points. So I've ordered in based of the points as well as the net run rate. Okay. And GLCC and Thunders have tie at 49 points, but they have not played against each other, so run rate matters. Similarly, Raptors and KRCC, run rate matters. Head-on-head is not possible. Stars and Strikers, I predicted that Stars would win, so and also they have a higher run rate, so I'm thinking Stars will take the higher position. Right? The rest of it is pretty much clear. Or I have a question, Viju. With both the teams having 38 points, would the number of wins come first?
Yeah, number of wins comes first.
Number of wins and then head-to-head, I guess.
Yeah. Number of wins followed by head-to-head, then only comes net run rate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then in that case, FCC would take 11, Strikers would take 12. And now, on your right is how the pre-quarters are arranged, right? 1 versus 16. So, Gladiators would be playing Hawks per my analysis. GLCC plays Legends. Indus Thunders plays Patriots. Sterling Strikers would play Detroit Titans. Right, and the next game is 5 versus 12, which is United Raptors versus Strikers. Then it's 6 versus 11, which means KRCC takes on FCC. Yep, and 7 versus 10, Pokeries take on Stars, and 8 versus 9, which is the last pre-quarters game, is Troy Hawks versus Miles.
Oh, that'll be very interesting. That they had a tie game earlier in the season. So in the playoffs, if they were to meet, this will be for all the marbles.
Yep.
Wow.
And see, one game costs a lot. All the rankings would change, and before I get to that, I want to mention how I have only given 1 versus 8 or etc., right? Because whichever team wins 1 versus 16 would automatically take number 1 position in my sheet. Similarly, if in 8 versus 9, if 9 wins, 9 would become your number 8.
Yep.
Okay.
That's how all these 4 are.
No.
That's how we got number 1 ranking in the draft last year.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you had the advantage of toss coin, calling the toss for the rest of the playoffs.
Right.
So that's
Any
kind of
comments on this? Yeah.
So this is Miles winning Pokeries, correct?
Yes, this is Miles winning Pokeries. If Miles lose, then it's a different story.
So, okay, one thing here.
Yeah.
So here, if you look at this last 16th and 17th, I mean the 15th and 16th playoff ranking with Legends and Hawks. So Hawks have won. It has it's going to play last game with 26 points now, and even Legends have the same. I think it's 26, I guess, right?
Correct.
So if they both win with 5 points, for example, 30, they both get 31. So who would go 15 and who would go 16?
Hawks is playing against Indus Thunders, but if both of them, what was that again? If
they both of them get equal points. Let's say both of them get equal points.
It would be Legends because they have a higher run rate.
Higher run rate, yeah.
No. So here's one thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. So here, top 5 teams from each pool will get the seed, top seed. So the Legends, even though they get the higher points, it goes last.
I think that's not the case.
No.
I think
No. For picking for picking the 16 team, you would pick the one which is the next highest after
Yes.
5 have been allotted, and the
Yes.
16 team is then put into the 1 to 16 slot. So again, you basically will see where it falls in terms of the points. So it's only for the picking of the 16 team that you see. After that, it's again 1 to 16 again.
No, so Hari, if you look at it, column D, Legends comes in as number 16. But when you do the ranking, obviously they have more points. So obviously they should be ahead of Hawks because they are all coming from different pools. So the only tiebreaker is the number of points. You get my point?
Okay.
Shouldn't be
So
that
in this,
I was lucky to get into pool A. If you really look at it, Hawks are with 26 points are making the playoffs.
Yeah.
But the only reason for that is because they were in pool A.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. But
in pool C and pool B, go ahead.
So if both Legends and Hawks get the same points, then what is the situation there?
If Legends and Hawks get the same points, then again the same rule which is used for breaking the tiebreaker in your pool.
Oh, the number of wins.
Will be number of wins followed by obviously head to head is not possible. Head to head is not possible because you're coming from different pools. Because you're coming from different pools, so it's going to be the number of wins followed by net run rate.
In fact, Hari, I'll tell you last year's scenario, right? So Kings 11 strikers were within the top 15 teams, right? Because they are in the top 5. Kings 11 strikers were supposed to be in the top 15. But because strikers had, I think, less number of wins compared to
they
the
went
other
to number
teams,
16.
strikers took 16,
Oh, okay.
And that is how they played Glads.
Say what you are seeing is they were tied with Kings 11 at 20, the same number of points. You get my point?
Wins,
But the wins was lower for strikers. That's why they ended up playing Glads last year.
Correct.
Yeah, but in this case, if they both win, then the number of wins would be same for both the teams, and the number of points would be the same. Then the run rate comes into picture. Whereas I think the Legends definitely will have a upper run rate.
Correct. Last year, MCC Miles was the 16th team when it qualified to the playoffs. But however, when the ranks were given, Miles were better
they had 30
than
points,
Kings.
right?
Yep. Miles were better than Kings 11. Miles were better than strikers. And that's how I think they took the 14th.
Yep.
I hope that clarifies the question. But that's a great question. And a lot of our viewers would also have that question.
No, a lot of people think that because you're the 6th team coming out of the pool,
that
you are going to be automatically number 16.
16. But that's what I was thinking.
But then that would not make sense because all the other 15 teams are ranked on a different subset, which is based on points. But if you're going to rank based on points, then all 16 teams should be ranked on points, right?
So one question, Vamsi, you have your predictions where you have final 1 versus 2. Are you predicting that, or is this just a simplified version of just showing?
Oh no, it's me saying that whoever wins this
whoever
16
wins this,
would take the top seed of 1, right? And similarly, whoever wins 8 versus 9 would take the number 8 spot. So those, 1 versus 8 can be anyone between 1, 16
or 1,
8, and 9.
So to use last year's example, Glads was 1 and strikers was 16, but in quarters, strikers was 1.
Yep. Whoever wins this game in column N
takes the 1 spot.
Yeah, takes that lower ranked spot or the highest rank. That's how you get to the finals.
Got it. Okay, we are almost stopping 11 o'clock here. So I want to basically make sure if we want in last maybe a minute question or anything to discuss, but yes, let's wrap up the show.
No, just a heads up that we'll be having the DCL draft next week, right, Padre?
Yes, we should call out that. So I want to basically make sure everybody knows, and everybody who's listening probably sends the link out to everyone. We are going to have a DCL draft, like an IPL auction, where myself, and Vamsi are going to have their teams similar to IPL. We're going to have our advisors also on our team, and we're going to do a draft. We've set some rules for the minimum bidding price for each players and sort them into categories, and only playoff bound players are eligible.
for the draft. So it's going to be a lot of fun since we do not have any matches next week. We're going to utilize the full 2.5 hour show for the draft and have a lot of excitement and really excited to see who the top pick for IPL and what price they go for. So stay tuned and make sure you join next week.
Yeah, and KK, if you can pick your advisors as quickly as possible, that would really help, because I think we have some groundwork to do before the next show.
Sure.
Yep.
All right.
And
Thank
Kapil,
you.
and Hari, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks a lot, guys, for having us. Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yep, bye.